Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show where, after the collision, we sift through
The wreckage.
the wreckage. I am your host, the hologram Jimmy T. That's why you can't see me just yet. And that is my co-host, the vet Jamie Williams, and we're on live on Hamid Media Group and channel attitude.com after the fact. Vet, it was a hologram debut for the ages right here on the wreckage.
I can't wait to get into that, but let's wait a little bit and get into that later.
We will wait. I just wanted to get your initial thoughts initially, but Vet,
Nope.
how you been and what's cracking, man? What's been haps?
Oh man, so this is the start of the wreckage is the end of my week and the start of my weekend. So I kick off my weekend by doing this show and talking to all the lovely people and yourself, Jimmy, whether you exist or not, whether you're a hologram or not, whether you're dark or not. So I'm excited. I'm ready to talk this show, and I think we don't have too much to talk about in the world of professional wrestling or even otherwise. Not really, but that's going to give me a chance to sort of put on my, like my professor glasses and start doing some like, some teaching and some education on this show, because this episode of Collision, I was kind of inspired. I was like, okay, I can sort of sink my teeth into some of the stuff that's going on here. And I can, instead of just being like, yeah, it was a match, I didn't watch, I can actually sort of get a little more in depth. So for the people that like that, they're going to have a lot of fun with this show. For the people that don't, stick around anyway. You might have fun.
Interesting, because as we're kind of alluding to off the air, I feel the opposite. I don't feel kind of rejuvenated by AEW or, well, look, man, personally for me, just the whole presentation felt like it was worse than TNA for me. It felt like NXT even, and even that looks better in my opinion. I don't know, man. It's just me. But before we do get into Collision, though, Vet, there's only one bit of news I kind of want to touch on, and I don't want to call it news, but
Okay.
Stevie Richards replied to Cody Rhodes. I don't know if you've checked that out.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, I found that quite interesting. If you guys haven't actually checked it out, go and check it out on his page, on his YouTube channel, that is. It's a good watch, put it that way. And he also talks about fixing AEW. I think we've all sort of gone there. But Stevie gives a great take, as Stevie does. But did you find that interesting anyway? And what was your take on it?
Well, I really enjoy the Stevie Richards show, as it is so creatively called, because normally what you see from Stevie is like, no offense to, it's not anything Stevie's doing, but I think a lot of Stevie's fans, especially wrestling fans, which is going to be like the vast majority of his fans, right? How else would you know Stevie Richards? So
Right.
I think the majority of his fans really want to hear what he thinks. And when he does the Raw and SmackDown review, after Vince Russo cuts a promo and Ben Hameen cuts a promo, Stevie Richards is left with like very little, like they don't leave much on the bone for him to get into. So he kind of just adds a little bit of color commentary on that show. And then when he's doing his fitness reviews and everything, that's really great. But for the people that want to see him talk about wrestling, this show kind of gives him a chance to get in depth with some of his thoughts in the way that he usually hasn't in the past. So
Right.
I enjoy that aspect of it. And as far as like him responding to what Cody said, when I heard what Cody said, well, I actually heard it, not just you reading it to me or, just seeing the text, but when I actually heard it in his voice, the way he was saying it, like, I was kind of like, I understood it more. I was like, oh yeah, that's Cody. And the way Stevie just sort of like any sort of negativity that could have been taken from that is he just sort of parried it and turned it into putting Cody over, which is a masterful that's how a real worker does it, not to give anything away, but that's what a worker does. They outwork the people that think they know, which the whole thing started by him saying people don't know how to wrestle anymore. That's what allegedly Cody said Stevie says. But I personally, like, I know how these things happen because obviously Cody is the WWE fucking champion. So it's not like he's sitting around listening to every podcast and listening to all this stuff, right? He probably only hears certain things that people, send him, like the way people probably told Stevie, like, can you believe Cody said this about you? And then he might hear the clip. I'm sure, Stevie Rich is not listening to every 2-hour Chris Van Vliet interview that comes down the tubes, right? Like he's too busy to do that too. So people send him like whatever the negative aspects of whatever somebody's doing, right? Like anybody can go into somebody's content, cut out all the negative stuff, make a clip show out of it. Same way everybody thinks that, like every AEW fan that doesn't listen to 6 hours a week of the Jim Cornette podcasts think that Jim Cornette is a racist and he's behind the times and all this other stuff. When they're not listening to his full show to get the full context of what he's saying, they only hear the negative clips out of the 6 hours. And it's the same thing that these happen. People weaponize negativity out of context, pass it around, and then everybody sort of forms their narratives and then starts arguing over that. So that's kind of become what more of the internet wrestling community landscape is like. It's like people using their own, this weaponized content against each other. And most people aren't like taking the full breadth of the landscape in. So everybody just stays at odds with each other. And it's harder. You get a very segmented community that way. I think if you're a wrestling fan, regardless, old, new, casual, hardcore, whatever, we all have a lot more in common than we think we do. But because we compartmentalize the aspects of our fandom and we only see certain aspects of each other, we think we're all so different. You got to be a certain kind of collective weird to enjoy wrestling. So there you go. That's what I think of it.
No, it's a great take, actually. And Homeboy 88 says, Jimmy's John Cena, you can't see me. Yeah, you can't see me at the moment. I'm trying to fix this. For some reason, my camera says it's working when I go to the software of the camera. And then for some reason, it's not appearing on StreamYard. I have no idea what's going on. I'm trying to fix it.
Settings as we're live.
I have. Yeah, no. Yeah, I've been doing that. That's why I kicked out for a second, even though I was still hearing what was going on. But I just kicked out while you were talking just to see what was going on. And for some reason, it's still not appearing. I have no idea why. I don't know if it's because I might need an update with my drivers, because it came up that I needed to do it, but I didn't have time to update drivers and install them, because of the show, obviously. So I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but I'm trying to rectify it right now as we speak. But anyway, back to what you were saying. I look, it's easy also to get wires crossed when it comes to this stuff, if you know what I mean. Like people misunderstand certain things, what Cody said initially, like it was, how can I put it? It was almost like he gave him props, but also it was like a backhanded compliment. I hate to put it that way, if that makes any sense. Like he acknowledges Stevie's show, obviously, for being there, right? And then, he was talking about DDP yoga with Stevie, basically. But anyway, go check it out. You guys will not be disappointed. I was surprised to see his response that fast. And yeah, I've seen it already. I've seen it almost twice myself, as Cold Blooded said. But yeah, man, it was a great take. Also, there was one other thing. apparently Braun Strowman is injured again, supposedly, Vet.
Oh.
Um, yeah, I mean, do you think it's the beginning of the end of his WWE run again? I feel like it is, dude. I think they're just gonna, part ways with him, and that's it. We're done.
Well, some of it is them fumbling Braun Strowman. Some of it is him fumbling himself. There's, you would think on paper there's a lot of appeal there. He's never had appeal to me because, and there's nothing he can really do about this necessarily. He just looks like a giant baby, right? Like I said that, I say that before. I say it again. He looks like just like a baby, just suddenly got big. Um, and so he's just sort of off-putting to me, and he's never had like wrestling gear that I liked. He's really never had a presentation I liked. So I don't personally care about Braun Strowman. However, I find it, especially now, as a good opportunity, because I find it really weird that you're gonna have a Wyatt's family storyline and you're not gonna incorporate Braun Strowman in any form or fashion. Like, this should be
Yeah.
one of the first things addressed. Like, he should be addressing it. Like, why is Braun Strowman out here worried about, who is he out there trying to fight? I don't even remember.
Uh, I don't even remember at this point, dude.
Chat, help me out. Who is Braun Strowman trying to fight? But anyway, he's involved with some faction on Raw. Like, he wants to get his revenge on them. And then it's like, why would you be, look, the minute these people show up and start, like kind of taking over the show with their weird spookiness and stuff, like, you would think Braun Strowman would be one of the first people that either people would go to, or he would go to somebody, and you would acknowledge this kind of thing. Judgment Day. Yeah.
Oh
So
yeah, Judgment Day, right?
yeah, so thanks, Lab Rat. So that's what I'm saying. It's like, so now if he's injured and he can't have any matches, how about now we sort of incorporate like a thing where they kidnap it now? And you all know how much I hate the Wyatt family from beginning to today. But I'm just saying, if you guys are going to do it in a way that, incorporates everything that it used to be. So Braun Strowman being involved in the angle is a no-brainer. And if he can't work matches, then you have him do this thing where they kidnap him and they re-educate him, or whatever the case may be. Just that.
Yeah, I agree. That's a good point.
Still gonna suck, but like I said, it's gonna make sense.
No, it will make sense because he was originally part of it. So, but in other news also, there's been reports all week that since really last week about the Motor City Machine Guns signing a contract with WWE. Nothing's been concrete, but again, there's an update apparently because reportedly now they're expected to join WWE. That's what the headline says. Now, in saying that, again, because I don't even know these dirt sheets even know what they're talking about half the time. But do you think, where there's smoke, there's fire? Do you think these two will sign with WWE? But in saying that, do they really want to sign two 40-year-olds at this point?
Well, what does the WWE want, or what do I want? I mean, that's what you're really asking,
kind of,
right?
yeah. I mean, it's a bit of both.
So, look, anybody that watches the Impact Attack with me, I've had to cover the Motor City Machine Guns for the past few years, right? So I'm no stranger to what they've been doing. To me, for better or worse, I'll leave that up to to your own personal tastes. But for better or worse, the Motor City Machine Guns are the same tag team they've been for the past 20 years. So just because they're 40 doesn't mean that they've necessarily lost a step in any way. They still do the same stuff. So if you like the Motor City Machine Guns then you probably like them now. So the age isn't really an issue. It's not like any tag team is going to get a dynastic run in WWE anyway. So it's just, it's not a bad signing if you were to bring them in. But then and I could see, like, obviously if you want DIY to be representative of your tag team champions, then I could see you thinking that like, oh man, there's those guys are going to have an undercard match that tears the house down, right? So, yeah. Um so like that is not that bad of an idea. However, just me personally, like I'm done with them and have been for forever. So I don't
Fucking
really
Motor
care
City
where they
Machine
go or
Guns.
what they do at this point.
Yeah, I've been watching it for way too many years at this point. Also, I mean, I didn't mind them. I think I like their theme more than them personally. I've never been a Saban fan. Put it that way. I mean, I just, yeah, okay, I get it. I know Detroit, right? Even though it feels like,
This is Michigan. The
right,
hand is
exactly,
Michigan.
exactly.
And where they point on the
exactly.
hand is where Detroit is.
But technically, you'd think they're pointing like to the US and they're pointing down the bottom, signifying Detroit. But I know they're pointing out Michigan. There's Detroit.
But Michigan is
But
in the
you could have
north.
fooled me. Exactly. But anyway, look, I think they'll suit NXT for me, and I don't really see him. Look, I could be wrong.
40-year-olds in NXT. What is this? 2014.
I know it's true. It's 2024. I mean, 10 years later. I mean, it could be a thing.
No, they need.
But I feel like
No. I just want to say this because people are obviously saying that. Cold Blooded said it. Zane Vicious saying it. The NXT doesn't need tag teams. The WWE needs tag teams. Their tag team division is ass, and they're treating it like ass. They need to get serious about it. And if they bring an established team like that, that's a bunch that every matchup is a fresh matchup. You could sort of jumpstart the tag team division if these guys come in and make a splash. And again, that's me, that's me as a hater. I'm just being trying to be fair and honest.
that's fair enough. I mean, you got a good point, man. Look, we'll see what happens. Like I said, nothing's concrete. This rumor's been sort of going around for the last week, and the latest on that is apparently they're going to reportedly sign with WWE. But yeah, like you said before, Vet, this is a quiet week again in terms of news, man. Other than not that anyone cares, but Jinder Mahal, debuted on GCW. I mean, I don't personally care. Yeah, it's actually, what do they call him now? Jinder Mahal or something. I can't even remember, man. I kid you not, it's something similar, right?
Minder Jahal.
Minder Jahal, some shit like that, dude. I kid
Joey
you not. When I
Samoa?
saw it, that's always the best one. Joey Samoa. It's no shit. It's very close to Mahal, but it's like they took out the L, the AL at the end. Something along those lines, man. I can't even remember, but he looks great. I mean, I'm shocked that he's still only 34, man. When you think about it, I thought he was a lot older than that because he looks fucking a lot older, to be fair.
Mm-hmm.
But good luck to Jinder. I always say Jinder my balls, but yeah, good luck to him anyway. Maybe one day we'll see him back in the WWE. But really, that's the news, man. That's about it. There's really nothing more to talk about when it comes to that.
So are you saying that we should put the gloves on?
Well, I think we should because, yeah, I know you can't see points of Detroit down there somewhere, but it's up there. But you know what I mean. What is Zane said? Raj Desi.
Is that his name? Pretty good.
I have no idea. Is it his name? Because I saw something else, but it doesn't matter still.
Everybody in wrestling who's Indian, their name is like Raj something or Singh something. Like everyone's a Singh
true.
relative in wrestling. That's
actually true. I mean, doesn't pro wrestling know like any other Indian background related names?
They don't.
Like why can't they come up with like Pumba Rajaban or something like that? I don't fucking know. See, look at me being stereotypical.
It's funny. It's like every Samoan has different names, but they're all related. And none of the Indian people are related, and they all have the same last name. It's hilarious.
Well. I mean, it's hard to think of another Indian name, from the top of your head, to be honest.
Well, I'm sure they could if they really tried.
Yeah, I'm sure they could too, for sure. But Vet, I think it's time to put the gloves on, man, because
Right.
I know it's an early
Start
one, but
sifting.
shit, we got to start. Oh no, Serge, don't say that. Do not say that, man. That's what we don't need in wrestling.
You already
An
got
Indian
Jacob doing
bloodline.
this. That could be
Jesus
gimmick
Christ.
infringement, bro.
If you start shaking the neck a little bit, I mean, yeah, I mean, we could be onto something. But like Cold Blooded said, wrestling has more than one royal family. Ding, 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 ding. One, exactly. Revamp with the Rajit Hamid.
Yeah.
Now we're talking like
It's
an
mid, all
Islamic
right.
Indian.
All right.
But
All right.
anyway, let's put
Enough
the gloves on.
cancelable material. Let's get to the damn. Let's get into the wreckage here.
Let's
So,
sift.
number one, we got a brand new opening. Opening song. I
Yeesh.
mean, you know,
Yes.
we're not paying Elton John royalties anymore. He's got enough money. And
R.I.P. to Elton John.
yeah. And
The song, that
not
is.
not the man, just his
Right,
usage
the
of the
song,
song on the show.
Just to clear that up.
So so this is the start of the summer series, as they kept saying throughout the show. And what that is, if you guys don't remember when we were talking about it, they signed a deal with the esports arena in Arlington to do like all their collision tapings here for, you know, next few weeks. So they're something they're trying out. So everybody's been telling, because they're all booking geniuses and they all run wrestling companies before, everybody's been telling AEW they need to run smaller venues.
I called it, Vet.
So here they are. They're running a smaller venue just like you all told them to. And Jimmy, what was your impression? The first thing that you started when you watched this show, what was your first impression of this venue and how it felt?
Honestly, dude, for me, it felt second rate. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh,
It-
really?
yes,
You mean it didn't
I'm-
feel like a big arena feel, and it didn't feel like a
I
big
know
time
what you're
production?
getting at. I know what you're trying to do here, right?
Trying to
I
do.
see what you're doing. I see what you're doing here, right? And yeah, but look, even though I did say that, right? I did say I was one of those people that said they should go to smaller buildings. But when I say smaller buildings, at least somewhere where it looks kind of like, man, this place was like just dark as, dude. It was just blacked out everywhere. I know apparently it was pretty packed, supposedly, but surely the way it was set up, it wouldn't have been good if you were in the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th. Yeah, I know, I get it. But look, I think if you were towards the back end of that place, because I don't think there was really any bleachers in there, was there?
You can't see. It's too
Exactly,
dark.
you can't see. And I'm assuming there isn't, to be honest, because it's supposed to be like a convention center. And when I say that, I'm not talking about like an arena, but like an esports stadium, like you know, they call it. Just one big hall, shall we say, in a way.
This is for watching
You know what I mean?
people play Valorant in. Not for wrestling.
What? That's you've said it, dude. So in my opinion, yeah, like hey, like Zane says, the Hammerstein Ballroom would be a perfect setup, in my opinion, which would look so much better on television than this summer in Arlington, whatever it is. So basically what I'm trying to get at, I don't like the presentation or the look of it.
Okay.
Honestly, TNA looks better right now at this point.
Well, first of all, no, they don't. But I understand the sentiment. Not having watched Slamversary, maybe that looks good. But their weekly
It actually did.
TVs still look like. So, but this is what I'm saying. When everybody was saying this, and they're saying they have to run smaller venues, I told them, what did I say? If you guys remember, what I said was they can't go back now because they've tried to tell you that this is a big production that's on par with the WWE. They're trying to compete with the WWE. They're running the same buildings that the WWE would run. They're trying to run these arenas, and they're trying to seem like they're big time, even if they're not. And they can sort of, you know, block out the arena and shoot it in a way that makes it seem like it's fuller than it is, and it still gives you that impression of yes, this is a big time company because look at the arenas they're running. When you actually do run a small arena, there ain't no hiding it. You can't disguise it. The sound is the first giveaway. Like when you hear the acoustics in that room, you just know, yeah, this is a small amount of people being loud. You just know that. And it seems like small time. And if they had done, and if this is what TNA does, and this is why TNA is fucking small time. Because it feels small time. So AEW is trying to trick you into thinking they're bigger than they are, but they're still bigger time than this. Now they've done exactly what everybody said, and they're testing out this sort of residency type thing. So this is kind of like, you know, when an artist is in Vegas and you could go see their shows in the same, you know, room that they play every single night, right? You're not going to get a stadium sellout for Celine Dion 30 nights in a row or whatever it is. You're going to get a room full of people who are just passing through the city on their way to, you know, gamble or whatever. So that's what I'm saying. This is what you, be careful what you wish for, because this is what you get.
All right, but look, the thing is, man, look, I know they're experimenting and all that, right? And that's cool and all. And again, like you said, be careful what you ask for because you might just get it, right? And here we are, we got it, right? But they could have been better. Look, at the end of the day, if they're going to do a resident thing, right, wouldn't we be just better off doing it at Daddy's place? It looks much better for television.
I think it's like, I mean, you can't, you could always do that, but then people will know that's like, you're just doing that because it's your home base and you're trying to save money or whatever. And also, you know, you want to make a deal with, like, obviously there's a benefit to the esports arena to have business come through there too.
I guess.
Yeah. So
no,
it's all part of the business to do these things. It's beneficial for both parties. So they're trying it out. And I'm just saying, like, people say run smaller venues. This is what you get. You get small time. That's it. I warned you all, and now you've seen it. Now, that being said, I actually agree with Cold Blooded. I liked how it felt. I just don't want this all the time. I think this is okay sometimes, but like, as far as this particular show, like, I liked a lot of things about it, and I didn't mind it. I kind of liked the way the show played out. I do think it looks better than TNA does weekly. As a TNA reviewer, I can say that. So it was fine with me. Like, I don't mind, but I was never the one telling them they had to move into smaller venues. I said,
that's true.
Yeah, you can do that sometimes. Sometimes you can do it. That's the thing. Like, WWE would run a Hammerstein and it would be cool looking because that building looks cool, right?
Absolutely. For sure.
But they don't want to do that if they could fit more people in those rooms. So that's a special occasion. So I think that it'd be cool to do venues like that look really cool. And there's a venue in that TNA runs sometime in Toronto. It's I forget the name of it, but the venue looks really cool. They can't run it all the time, but it's good sometimes.
Is it like a nightclub setting, sort of?
I think so. I think it normally is like a club.
Yeah, it's like a club balconies. There's a balcony sort of section. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so I like that look. And if you can find places that look unique, that are smaller, then that's cool, because then it feels like, oh, we did this on purpose. We obviously could have sold out a bigger building, but we went here on purpose. Like, we wanted to go to this place. And I think that's cool to do that sometimes. But I still think you got to run the big buildings in the hope that, yes, you could sell more tickets, and you also still have to have that big time feel. So fake it till you make it.
Well, for me, it reminded me of an old school episode of WCW Worldwide, bro. Or even like WCW Saturday Night, but like towards the death of it, not back in the heyday when it was the show for WCW before Nitro, obviously, and Thunder and whatnot.
Well, there you go.
It felt like that. You know what I mean? And the only thing that I'm worried about, that we're going to get a weaker card, You know what I mean? Week in, week out, like because of this setting, if that makes any sense. You know what I mean? And I don't want that.
Yeah. Well, if they had started running places like this, like Labrat says, when you buy yourself a top spot, no other, the only other place to go is down, right?
Right.
And if they had started in smaller venues like this, they never would have went up because they wouldn't have even gotten taken as seriously as they did from the start. So
no, I see where you're coming from, man, for sure. Well, they're experimenting. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. But let's get into the actual show part of the show, the actual meat and potatoes of the. Let's see what we got on the menu. Oh my God, they are serving up the first course is Darby Allin. You're serving me a succulent, delicious Darby Allin right off the bat. I feel spoiled.
Darby Allin.
Oof.
He was a bit hypocritical with his promo event when we get to it, but I just wanted to point that out.
Well, let me tell you something, brother. I'm in. You serve up a Darby, I've got my fork, I've got my knife, and I'm salivating. And then
I agree. I'm a Darby fan too, man.
Yeah, and we haven't seen him in a while because he's been hurt. And the only other thing he's done is do run-ins and shit. And he's gonna be on Blood and Guts, so they need him back. So who's he in there with? Oh, Jimmy, your favorite, the Beast Mortos.
Morto. I know his name's got more with the mask. I know his name's got more in it, right? Mm-hmm. That doesn't mean we want to see more with Mortos every week. Sorry, I'm sorry. Well, personally, me, I don't want to see Mortos all the time, but a little bit of Mortos can do a good thing for Mortos.
And Mortos and Darby, hey, that's a first time
apparently
ever.
Got a history.
I think, maybe.
Well, no, actually, it's not. It is their third time ever, as a matter of fact. Yes. Okay. There's a fun fact.
Yeah. Well, what do you think about the mask, though? It's different now. Like, it's slightly been modified. The ram horns are really prominent now. So
yeah, he's starting to look more like his Taurus sort of look.
You want to talk about mess with the bull, get the horns. Well, what happens if you mess with the ram or the beast?
Morto. What a name. You gotta love it, man.
Well, since we were speaking about the machine guns earlier, I think it's fair to borrow a line from Chris Sabin because I loved this match. This was great. This is a great opening match. I love everything these guys did, and I love everything about it. You got a Darby Allin who can he's known for stunts, but he can kind of do it all. And then you got like one of the best bases in Lucha Libre right now today. And that's just so basically what in simpler terms, you got a guy that flies and you got a guy that can catch. So, you know, we're being treated to like two of the top pros at their given, specialties.
And they work their specialties pretty much in this match.
Yeah. And but I also like how they started, with simple stuff. Like putting over the strength of Mortos and, Darby trying to wrestle and not getting exactly what he wants. And then all this stuff. It was
kind of an old school style match in many ways, man. Yeah. It was like an old school wrestling match.
And that's going to figure into the card as we go on throughout the night, because this match was like a really good, if you're putting a top to bottom card together, this match was a really good opening match where it gives you a little bit of everything that you can expect, but it saves the more what's the word I want to say? It saves plenty for the other people who are only going to do one or two things later. Like if you're a high flyer, you got a big debut later, so you don't want to do all of that stuff. So
and
do a little bit here, and then, but this is sort of like the little something for everybody match, the establishing match. We put this on, we give them wrestling, we give them a little bit of excitement, we give them the Darby high spots, and we give the Darby win. So great match to open. They pulled it off. It was pretty flawless, except for he did that crucifix off the second rope. It looked like he dropped him right on his fucking head. But other than that, Good match. I really liked it. I love both the guys. So we're off to a good start for me. What about you? Anything to add about the match itself before we get to the promo?
Well, like you said, I initially got kind of, excited because of Darby on Collision is a rarity. So I was kind of, pretty hyped for it, man. Look, the match was great, like you said, and it did have an old school feel to it in many ways because both wrestlers were working their styles, you know what I mean, their specialties. Even though Darby didn't overdo the high flying stuff, he really hardly done much. Like when it came to the high flying stuff, essentially the match was, I don't want to say 50-50 because it really wasn't. Mortos was kind of getting the most and the best of, Darby pretty much all match. But it was your typical sort of AEW matchup or even the Darby match where he ends up, finding the way to win. But I felt like, did it go a little too long though? A little bit. It felt like it went over 20 minutes.
I don't remember, but I'm not going to complain if I like it.
Right. No, look, it was good enough. I just felt like if there was any gripe for me, it was just a little too long, but that's really a real small gripe. Other than that, it was very much enjoyable. Just the promo part, though, Vet, is a little hypocritical of him in some ways, but I'll let you do the rest.
All right. Well, I'm not going to go over word for word what he said, but he got the mic right after, and he was basically talking to the Elite about how they never promote Collision. They're never at Collision. They never promote Collision. But he's basically saying like AEW's his baby now, is what he said. I think those are his words actually. But you didn't like this, huh?
Well, only because he said that the Bucks are hardly, or they don't want to turn up onto Collision, which is true. But to be fair, injured or not, neither does Darby really. Mm-hmm. So, you know what I mean? I don't know why he would even say that when he's no better in that sense. Well, that's why,
That's why he hasn't been.
I know, but even before that, though. They're the
characters of the EVPs, so you could say like it's their job to promote, and they're not doing it. So I get what you're saying. It's like maybe somebody that has been on Collision week after week after week should be saying this to them, but still we know why he's been gone, and he was on Collision before, so he was one of the hand-picked guys, right? So.
Supposedly, right. But even then, he wasn't on that frequently. Like, I feel like this is a rarity. I know, but like you said, he was injured. But still, you know what I mean? Maybe he could do a few more appearances before he says stuff like that. But then again, he could be just working. You know what I mean? But did he seem a little concussed?
What?
Did he seem a little concussed after the match?
I don't know. He always seems a little bit.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know if he's working it or right, exactly. So that's why there's no point. But he just seemed a little like, off here and there. But anyway, great match to start off with. Now this set the tone for me, and then that's where I get a little disappointed. But
the
please
tone gets
continue.
weird. Tone gets weird quick. Well, the next thing we see is Billy Gunn setting the Acclaimed straight, like he's basically cutting that speech on them, telling them that they need to stop goofing around and be the best. So
haven't we heard this before with the exact same plays?
Well, apparently they keep veering off out of line and need to get brought back in line constantly.
Well,
he really is. Geez. He really is daddy ass. Like he has to take care of the kids and how many times have I told you? That's basically this promo. So.
Could this be an opportunity for him to turn on these guys for not listening to him eventually? Are they planting seeds?
I mean,
here?
It could, but turn on them and do what? Just keep them together. I'm so tired of turns. You know what I say? No turns.
No turns. But they veer.
Let's say to be topical, if I was campaigning, say for anything, the platform I would run on is no more wrestling turns.
You know what that means?
Yeah.
You're going to get a million turns. You're going to veer right off the cliff.
Right.
That's how many turns there'll be.
We need to stop all that. So Well, here's something that turned pretty quickly. Their next match is this was actually from a promo last week. We get Hikaru Shida versus Dark Sky. Dark Sky called out Hikaru Shida, and apparently, it didn't go well. Because isn't it? And I don't want to say the word funny, but Jimmy, you were on the Next Level review with me this week, and I was talking about a crossbody and how crossbodies are dangerous, and how I broke my arm doing on a crossbody catching somebody.
I know.
And how
we conjure this shit.
I don't know, but and how Obafemi could have broken his arm but got lucky.
Right.
And then all of a sudden now we see, apparently, if you want to take Tony Khan at his word, poor Dark Sky got her ankle hurt here. And Shida was going to do a crossbody from, the rope to the outside where Sky's on the floor waiting to catch her, and she kind of goes a little bit low. She lands a little bit low on Sky, and whether that was it didn't look like it was one person's fault. It just looked like a very unfortunate thing that happened, and then she went down, and then they had as they were going to picture in picture, they sent the trainer over, and so you and I could probably see this whole thing with the commentators talking over it.
Yep.
And, they're just like, they're just talking, and Nigel's trying to figure out what went wrong and saying that it looked like Shida landed low on the leg, instead of up high where she, around the chest where she's supposed to. And, so
I think
it was pretty ugly. And
I think it's clear what happened here, though.
Okay, what do you think happened?
I think she, obviously, I don't know if it was done on purpose or not. Like, she might have missed, time to move or whatnot. But when she'd have jumped off the apron or off the rope, she did go a bit low. And I think basically what happened with Dark Sky, she kneeled down a bit too low. Hence the ankle injury. And I think it's like seeing, a basketball player doing a crossover on the defense, right? On one of the defense players, and they break an ankle. Well, in this case, Dark Sky went a bit too low and broke an ankle thanks to Shida going a little low. Like I said, though, Shida's put on a sort of a weird amount of weight. She looks kind of different on the face. Maybe, and like you said, maybe it's no one's fault. Or you could say it's the experience of Dark Sky misjudging Shida's move. Or could it be that she's put on a bit of weight that she missed sort of time to move, possibly?
Well, it's some of all of that. I just don't know what percentage of each.
That's true. That's a hard one because it's pretty even the way it happened.
It's not like Shakita. Shakita.
Shakita.
It's not like Shida gained like. She didn't gain like 75 pounds.
No. It's not even much.
She looked like she gained between like 6 and 8 pounds.
But, but you could see it though. That's the weird part, man.
You could see it, but that's only because she like exposes half her body in her outfit most of the time. So it's easy to see, but like, it's not going to affect her athletic ability that much. It's just a case of like,
she's not fat. Let me put it out there.
Yeah, no, it's a case of she jumped and she misjudged it. And Sky, her instinct is going to be like, if you're catching somebody, your instinct is to try to catch them. Like if you see they're coming up short, you're going to try to catch them because you don't want them to eat shit. So if you'd rather put yourself in position to get hurt rather than let them get hurt, that's just your instinct as a wrestler. So
no, absolutely.
So it's not a case of like, well, Shida 100% fucked up because Sky could have done it differently too, but in that split second moment, you don't even know what's going to happen until it's too late. So that's why I mean, when I say it's nobody's fault, because there's no training for that. It's just these things happen. And
true.
But here's what I would say though. So regardless of weight or athletic ability or other things, you have to remember something at all times. And this goes to any professional that wants to have longevity in their career. Okay. You have to know that when you're the second match on a random collision, uh, you, this is not the main event of WrestleMania, and you just need to find out what's the easiest way to get what you want to get. If you let's say Sheeta cross bodies, Dark Sky, and it goes perfectly, right?
Right.
Nobody on planet Earth is going to say, man, you know what my favorite part of that Collision episode was? When Sheeta did a crossbody on Dark Sky. No one will think that because they've seen it a million times from a million people. It won't be their favorite part. So
no, of course,
rather than do something that is as potentially dangerous as that, which this won't even be the only time somebody's going to plancha to the outside and do this move. There's like 2 or 3 more times on the show that somebody's going to do a move similar to this, if not exactly this. So all Sheeta has to do is be on the apron and she can just hop, just like come off with like a hopping forearm down to the ground and Sky could take a bump. It's just that easy, you know? And even then, just like Cold Blooded said, Adam Cole, he hopped down off the ramp and his ankle broke into a million pieces. So nothing in wrestling is safe. Sami Zayn celebrated in his match with John Cena and tore his shoulder. Like everything can go wrong at any moment. You're just trying to mitigate it. But if your move is not like the centerpiece of the match or it's not going to be the finish, then just keep it a little bit simpler. And then know your spot on the card. Know what you need to do and what you want to do, or could be 2 different things. And find a way to get to the same place without taking all the risk.
Right. No, that's
how hard would it have been to come off with a forearm or an axe handle off the apron rather than a crossbody? It's still going to end up with you standing and her on the floor. So what's the difference? Right?
No, you're right. No, absolutely, man. You're spot on. You're spot on. And what, this match ended after what, 1.5 minutes, if that, something like that?
Yeah, it was one of their early spots. It was like their early high spot. It was a crossbody to the outside from the rope. She stood up on the bottom rope and jumped off it and didn't jump far enough. So, meh.
It was kind of weird, man. It was weird the way it was handled also. Couldn't they just... They didn't give no one I mean, Sheeta didn't actually get the win officially, right? It was just a no contest.
I don't even... No, I think she won because here's what happened.
Okay.
This is weird, and I don't know what it looked like to people watching on cable, but if you're watching the pirate feed, while Sky's getting checked out, the referee tells Sheeta go to the back. So Sheeta goes all the way up the ramp to the back. And then after they come back from break, Sheeta comes back out with the referee, and the referee like raises her hand. Says,
yeah, that was bizarre.
You're winner due to a stoppage, which it's like, okay, first of all, that brings up another point. Okay. This is what's wrong when you take this phony business and then you try to be like more realistic about it. Like with things like, okay, so you're having a match and someone is hurt on the outside of the ring and they can't continue. Well, if this was a work, wouldn't that be what the countouts for? So if you're going to do that, if she's legitimately hurt, the first, if this happened to me, if I was like, oh shit, my ankle's fucked, and the referee and the trainer came over to me, I'd be like, go count, like I'm fucked. Go count. I'd tell the ref to get in the ring and count. And then I could like on the ground, I could like struggle around and like get counted out. And then people will worry about me. But if you just stop the match and say like, well, her ankle's hurt, stop the match, then you're basically saying, hey, wrestling's fake and something real happened. So, that means everybody that sells everything as a work, like, why isn't the match stopped?
Yeah, no, it's stupid, dude. It's
why isn't every match that Seth Rollins has ever had been stopped when he clutches his knee, right?
Right, exactly.
Like Seth Rollins should have lost like 500 matches by stoppage at this point.
But yeah, no, you're right. You can't have it both ways. I agree with you, man.
No. So if
I
you're
mean,
already
do it
outside the
properly.
ring, then just counter out.
Right?
It's not like
hard,
insensitive. Like it's not like,
man.
oh, the poor hurt girl, and you counted her out as a work. Like, who fucking cares? And if you're in the ring, I'd be like, pin me, just pin me. It's over. I can't. Just do it. Don't like stop the match to say, hey guys, I know wrestling's fake, but come on, they got really hurt. This isn't fake hurt. Come on, we're stopping the match. Like, don't do that. Don't do that. Even if everybody knows wrestling's fake, don't do that. It's dumb.
It's dumb, and clearly these referees haven't been trained for this situation.
It's not their fault. Maybe
I'm not blaming. No, it's
orders.
not. No, absolutely not their fault.
But this happened in WWE too. Remember when Giovanni Vinci got like knocked silly in a match? It was a tag team match. It was Imperium versus New Day. And rather than just let him tag his partner and then do a quick, he could have tagged in Ludwig and Kofi Kingston could have gave him a quick small package and ended the match. But instead of that, they stopped the whole thing and said, New Day is the winner because he can't continue. Like, what do you mean? It's a tag team match. You still got a healthy guy. What are we doing here?
Yeah, it's weird, especially by WWE standards, because usually they don't do that. But they have done it on numerous occasions. But yeah, look, I don't know what to say to that anymore. It's just, unless it's something really serious, like they're dying, then I can understand if you're doing that, right? But if it's just a friggin', normal injury, I'm sure, male or female can tough it out for an extra 10 to 20 seconds. You know what I'm saying?
Is that just is that like a new generation thing? Like, is that where
it seems like it?
Did somebody have a match on the indies and they got hurt, so the referee counted them out and then they cried about it afterwards?
Yeah, it would have surprised me, dude.
How could you count me out? I was really hurt. And then they were like, oh, sorry, we didn't mean to hurt your feelings.
Man, don't be surprised, man. That could easily be the case. Think about it, dude. I mean, it's 2024. I wouldn't put it past that. So, I mean, because, like you said,
Bro.
I mean, why would they be doing, they used to do the opposite years ago. Why do this now? Like, so maybe you're onto something.
I'm not saying like Triple H tear your quad and finish the match.
No, I was thinking Triple H like, I'm
just saying like the minute you know something's wrong, you could still do a fake finish to wrap up the wrestling part of the match to not kill the illusion. We don't ruin my immersion, damn it.
Yeah, man, don't alienate us for crying out loud.
Yeah, it's still real to us, but that's what I was saying. Imagine like, so how like Tom Cruise does all his like own stunts for the Mission Impossible shit, and he gets hurt sometimes. It's like,
right?
Can you imagine if they left that in? It's like, come on, guys, we got to stop the movie. Tom's hurt. Like, they just leave it in, and they have like the medics come in, and they just leave it all, and they put that in the finished movie. Like, you'd be like, what is this? What are you doing?
Oh, man.
It's so bad. But regardless.
I think Elaborate, says it best. Wrestling logic at its best.
It's not even wrestling logic. This is, I don't know what this is. This is some new age bullshit.
Well,
you didn't know? These matches are phony.
Phony. Beep, 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 beep.
Yeah, man. Oh, dude, I to the point that I'm just like, you remember when the famous thing where Top Dollar did that? He did that. He tried to do that dive and just fell out of the ring and landed on his feet, and everybody just fell over.
Yeah,
bro,
I'm so bad though.
I would have if I was Top Dollar, I would have immediately collapsed to the ground and had them stretcher me out. There ain't no way I'm going to live that down, so I'm going to fake an injury and have them carry me out and get an ambulance or whatever. Like,
he probably would have got fired just for that, but dude.
Yeah, he got fired anyway, so you might as well.
Oh, no, that's true. That was the beginning of the end for him.
No, he just stood up. He just stood there like, yeah. Like, it's like, no, the first thing, if I realize I fucked up, like, as I'm going over in my mind, I'm like, okay, I'm taking a bump on the outside and I'm just going to lie there like I'm paralyzed. There's no way I'm going to try to stand up after this.
I ain't showing my face again.
Yep.
I ain't
Like, I'm hurt.
getting up.
I'm hurt, guys.
I'm
hurt.
concussed.
Get the stretcher. Get the stretcher. I ain't gonna have people
Imagine.
laugh at me for the rest of my life.
Oh, that's gold, man. You killed it with that comment, bro. That's too good. That is awesome. Oh,
Yep.
boy. Yeah. Take some advice, Dollar.
Yeah, Labrat said this is the company that will drag an unconscious guy to the corner just to finish a match. Right. And it's all y'all's fault because you shamed him for that, and now we get these finishes.
Yeah. And that was Moxley he's talking about, wasn't it? If I remember correctly.
it was Alex Reynolds.
Oh, well, they did it with friggin' Moxley too, man. Do you remember that not too long ago?
No, but the famous one is them just grabbing Reynolds by the arm and pulling him over so he could tag out, which was great.
Oh, well, they've done it more than once anyway, and not Cold Blooded said the Cheese It World Champion.
But never again. Now we're just going to stop matches in the middle and say, fuck everybody who bought a ticket trying to enjoy this. So
could it be that they're females, though, Vet? Could be that the reason?
That doesn't explain why New Day and Imperium did it.
That's true. But Matt Hardy's also another one. Thank you, Labrat.
Oh. That was
Remember
barely
when he
even
was
a
knocked
match.
out?
Right.
I know, but still,
no, wait a
man.
minute. Moxley, see, that's not even the same thing because that's exactly what I didn't like. Moxley called the redo
Phoenix,
of the finish as he was concussed, and
What?
they got
Did
the
he?
1, 2, 3 when the referee
Did he
fucked
really?
up. If that's what he's talking about.
No, I think there was another time where he was fully knocked out, dude. And then he went on to he'd done a couple more moves. The ref wouldn't count 3. And everyone's like, losing their shit.
That's the Moxley versus Phoenix match. He got knocked out when he got dove on, and he was wrestling the whole match concussed. That's the point. Jon Moxley is not going to admit that he's too fucked up to continue the match. So he just went and did it. And then the referee, he didn't kick out of that. He got dropped on his head. He didn't kick out. And I'm sure that Jon Moxley told that guy, he told that ref, like, count it or whatever. And the referee was probably like, oh, he just means count to 2. Because I know this isn't the finish. And then he doesn't count it. And Jon Moxley's like, Jesus Christ, pick me up again. So he told
and then he got dropped on his head.
Again, do it again. Dropped him on his head again. That was the exact finish of the that was the Sasha Banks finish too. When Sasha Banks broke her foot, she told Willow, hey, just hit your finish on me. And the referee didn't count it. So she's like, oh my God, pick me up again and do it again. So she took 2 doctor bombs with a broken foot. Can you imagine if she had, and all the shit they give, the fans give her, and then Dark Sky hurts her ankle and she can't even get counted out. Not blaming Dark Sky, but I'm just saying, like, what are we doing? Like, which is it? Are you going to continue matches or are you going to stop them in the middle? Like, it seems to be a case-by-case basis, but
we need a money every time that happens. Just for a reminder, like, Toasty. Remember Toasty on Mortal Kombat? Like, Toasty. Yep. We need a money.
That's right.
With a head pop
Put some
up.
respect
every
on
time.
Money's name.
Yeah. Money.
She broke her foot. She didn't quit the match. So Archer, this is Texas, so we just got to have Lance Archer for no reason, right?
Yeah, standard.
Yeah. And he's just beating up random people backstage.
I don't know what to tell you, bro. I don't know where this is leading to. Yeah. I assume because we're going to be in Texas now, in the same spot in Arlington for the next 4 weeks, I assume we're going to see more of Lance Archer, right?
Yeah, this was just a preview.
It was a live vignette. How about we call it that?
Yeah. Yeah, because if you just take random people and throw them around, which is the only people that Lance Archer can beat in AEW is the random people backstage. He's never beat like a wrestler that has an entrance. So, we'll see.
Kind of true, actually.
Speaking of great wrestlers, Chris Jericho is. Hi guys, he's on. He's doing a promo on his upcoming opponent, Minoru Suzuki. Now, this promo is fine, whatever. But I did have an issue with it, which is,
really?
Yeah, which is Chris Jericho said in the promo, people call you the murder grandpa. Okay, well, not officially, okay? So don't say that. Don't ever call an opponent that you're trying to take seriously in a fight a grandpa. That's not, first of all, that's not even, that's a childish term to use, a grandpa. Like that's what a kid says.
So stupid,
not even grandfather.
Right.
You're basically calling him old. He's like a year or two older than you. So don't say that. I guess what Bulldog Bob Brown told you all those years ago still hasn't fully sunk in, but goddamn. Don't call him the murder grandpa. That's what marks call him. No one officially calls him that. He doesn't have any merch.
That is true, man. That's actually facts, dude. You're right. That's spot on. It's what the marks fucking call him, man. It's not official. Oh,
but
well,
anyway,
that's wrestling.
I hope Suzuki shoots on him a little bit.
I love that, dude.
Yeah, so now we are treated to the premier athletes, and specifically Tony Nese. He gets on the mic after Smart Mark Sterling passes it over, and he says that everything's bigger in Texas because everybody in Texas is fat, and he says he's got an open contract, and anybody could have answered this open contract. And I was like, wow. Well, I already got a Derby match, but it would be great in Texas. I haven't seen in a while, and who's just should be about ready to come back. What if it's the Limitless one? But instead it was Ray Phoenix. So not as exciting, but pretty good, I guess. I mean, if you like that sort of thing.
Is it really? Just be honest.
Ray Phoenix. Ray Phoenix.
Ray Phoenix. Yeah.
He's all right.
Yeah, nah.
I mean, he drops people on their head sometimes, but other than that.
Sometimes is an understatement.
Once in a while.
Nah. Once in a while, yeah. Every, maybe once every 3 weeks, once a month. Something along those lines.
Did he drop Tony Nese on his head? I don't recall.
No, he didn't. But is it safe to say that Phoenix right now, his stock has gone so low that I don't care anymore? Think about how sort of over he was. And when I say over, I'm not saying in over in a literal sense, because he's not. But I mean, when he had a lot of hype in TNA or Impact Wrestling at the time, there was so much hype on him, man. Him and his brother. Now look where he's gotten, bro. He's lost all that hype and some.
Well, it's very, very sad.
However,
but
Phoenix is
I'm sure that the people there in the arena seem to be excited, mildly, to see him.
Mildly. Was anyone excited on this show? It felt very kind of quiet.
Yeah, it was a little bit quiet. But I mean, here's the thing. That's just because, you have the premier athletes. We don't see them. We see them so inconsistently that they don't even have any heat. You see Tony Nese trying his ass off to get heat by calling Texas fat, but they still didn't even boo him that much. It was like I guess no reaction, we'll boo dude. Just because we're supposed to, but we don't feel like it. It's hot. Too hot to boo.
You know what? It probably was in there, man.
It probably was. But any case, but this was though we've had the good opening match. We would have had a women's match, but it unfortunately cut short. And then we get this match, which would be like, hey, these are the athletic guys, these guys can do some cool athletic shit. So now we kind of get the high spot match in there for that variety. So I like the placement of this match a little bit. I know what's coming later, but I'll explain why that's different. But even though I personally did not care for this match, this would just be like I guess on the a la carte menu, this would just be like when the waiter refills your water,
your water, not your soda, your water.
No, just the would you like some more water, sir? Oh yes, please, thank you.
And we're talking about straight tap water, not fucking bottled
but
shit.
It's ice water. It's ice water.
It's ice water. Absolutely, it's refreshing. It's still refreshing.
Right. It's just, nothing special. So
Right.
there you go. And Phoenix won with the I want to say the frog splash,
Yeah, I believe.
which is like, well, that's not your move, but I guess in
Well,
Texas you
think
just want to
about
get
it.
some Guerrero. Like,
Does he want to break another head? I mean, every time he tries doing his finisher these days, he's knocking someone out cold, bro.
I mean, he could do a different finisher.
So he done the Phoenix Splash. Actually, don't do a
He,
Phoenix Splash.
he could do the himself.
Do not do a
splash.
Phoenix Splash. Yeah, that's why I said that, but not. But there's literally a move called the Phoenix Splash.
Right.
But maybe we can change it
Done
to the
by some guy that constantly
FENIX.
hurts his knee, but none of his matches ever get stopped.
Go figure, right?
Yeah.
You're on fire tonight, man. I like it. Exactly.
All right.
Well, according to Cold Blooded, before you move on, that was his salad and breadstick.
Makes sense. Also, good analogy there.
Without dip, though. No dip.
No dip. Yeah, no. Well, yeah. Breads you don't need,
Or, I don't know if this one suits better, but a wonderful cranberry pecan salad.
Yeah. If it's wonderful, it's wonderful. But I'm like somewhere out there, there's people that like don't like any of the people we like, but they love Ray Phoenix and they love Tony Nese. If Surge is still here, I'm sure he loves Tony Nese. It seems like right up his alley. An athletic guy that's built, that's boring as shit. Like that's Surge's favorite wrestler.
That's boring as shit.
So,
I don't know if that's a compliment or a fucking.
It's both. So Shivani brings out FTR.
Oh yes.
Yeah, this was great. You always, of all these guys, you want to no flips, no fists, just words.
Just roids, bro.
Just cashing. He's out there. He denies any wrongdoing in so many words. If you know, you know. And then Axe the Axe Axon just says a bunch of wrestling promo cliches.
This is just your typical FTR promo now these days, dude.
Yep. This is what they do.
I mean, same promo like Labrat said as well. Look, FTR with the same promo over and over again. Over and over. At this point, they're just what do you do with FTR now, Vet? Really?
I mean, release them. Just release them.
Jeez. There you go.
Nobody
just release them already.
You don't like. Clearly, AEW does not want them there. They only want them there to hold them hostage. They don't want to do anything with them. There's no real plan for them. There's no consistency with them. They know that they would probably get re-signed by the WWE if they did release them, which is why they won't. And also Tony says he doesn't release people, so they won't. But you're not going to do anything with them, so it'd just be best for everybody if you just let them go.
Yeah, can you imagine if they got released, which they won't, like you said, but if they did, or when their contracts eventually expire, even though they just signed a long-term deal, last year, I think it was, they will talk so much shit, I think, about AEW and Tony Khan. I'm telling you, dude, they'll go crazy if they do end up getting out of their contracts. I mean, suck shit, FTR. You guys thought you were going to get used better after re-signing, and if anything, you're getting used even worse.
You got Punk heat.
You got Punk heat, exactly, and that's a bad stank. You know what I mean? And that stank ain't coming off, man. As long as they're still in AEW.
AEW is kind of like every wrestling company, you know? They're like WCW from the 90s. They're like ECW. And they're like, this is like the aspect of WWF where they would have people have careers out of spite. Like they would just lock people down and then starve them out, you know? Except they're not starving. Spite. You're just paying them millions of dollars and you're not even getting your money's worth out of it just to fuck with them.
Well,
that's a Vince McMahon move. So
absolutely. I mean, like Jose Luis Rivera says, FTR needs smart mark representation, but also FTR are there to solidify Young Buck legacy, but they ain't going to get that Young Buck legacy, period.
Which doesn't even make sense because if the Young Bucks just need to go over on people, then all they could do is build up other tag teams, just to go over on them, and they don't even do that. So they're
That's
not
true,
even
too.
being assholes correctly. Cold-blooded says, this was the part where I bought an unsweetened tea instead of sweet. It's also a good analogy.
Oh,
And then
yeah.
he asked, did something new happen for him to bring up that case out? But yeah, I think all the charges got dropped. So
It did get dropped.
recently.
Nothing's going on right now. He's off the hook, man.
Yep.
We pretty much knew that was going to happen anyway. But Labrat also says FTR might have been better off in WWE with that horrible gear. I agree 100%. They should have been the Jokers of WWE.
Yeah, is he talking about the clown outfits?
Yeah.
The baby
Oh,
Huey stuff?
didn't they have
Like,
shillelaghs too or some shit?
probably.
Weren't they like Irish leprechauns at one stage?
I don't remember if I ever saw the pictures. I just heard them described. But
There's actually
what?
prototypes out there.
you know what? As
On
much
the
as
gear.
AEW doesn't want to use them, I don't want to talk about them anymore. So let's move on.
Oh, let's fuck them. Yeah. Cash.
Lexi
them,
is
please.
now with Hikaru Shida, and Shida's saying she came for a fight, and but you know, so she actually wants to. Long story short, she wants to fight with Britt Baker. So there you go.
Are we gonna get that on Dynamite?
Yeah, can't wait. No
Can't
cross
wait,
bodies,
man.
please.
Yeah, take that.
Lose some weight.
For advice. You fat. No. No, she's not
right.
fat. She's not fat actually, but she's put on weight. That's it. She's not fat though.
That's right.
I want to keep saying that.
Yeah, she'd be a 10 out of 10 in almost any wrestling fans, you know.
No, she's still got a great body. Make no mistake about it.
So next we're getting another delicious treat because we have Roderick Strong, which is like, okay, you know, Roderick Strong. I didn't ask for this. I didn't order this.
It gets
And then,
stale that treat though after a while. Let's be honest.
Yes. But he's taking on the Stone Pitbull, tough and hard,
Up and
Tomohiro
hard.
Ishii.
Ishii. Yeah,
I'm
I mean this was a typical Ishii strong match in many ways. They both got their shit in,
Right.
bro.
He's like, I don't want to do nothing. But here's the thing. Here's the thing about Ishii, though. And I think a lot of Japanese wrestlers are underrated in this way. Is I've watched Ishii's, I've seen like almost like most of the matches he's had in his life in the past 7 years, 6-7 years.
Right.
Like during that span of time, I've seen most of the matches he's had. I watch every New Japan match. I watch the matches he has in America when he comes over. He did a little run in TNA there, or it was still Impact when Brandon and I were covering it for Impact Attack. But one of the things that's really underrated about the guys from Japan, especially New Japan, is they usually know their spot on the card on a given show and they work to that spot. So
Right.
Ishii's on this show in like the middle of the card and he's not going to do anything. This is exactly what I'm talking about when I talk about like, you know how I said earlier with the ladies match about how they shouldn't be doing cross bodies if it's not going to mean anything.
Right.
Yeah. So like, Ishii's like, okay, I'm in the middle of the card on a random collision and I'm doing a job. So we're just going to stand here and chop each other. Like that's what we're doing. Now, when Ishii is like in those situations where he needs to be the main event of a show, like, let's say it's like the closing match of one of the G1 nights or, on the rare occasion he gets a title shot or those type of situations.
Right.
Like, he works his ass off and they know they could plug him in and get a 25-30 minute main event out of him against the best guys in the world when they need to.
Right. He's
But
one of those guys when
they're
they
never
need
going
to.
push him as the top guy, but he can always main event on any given night.
And he does.
And if he ain't, and he has a different type of match when he's doing that. He sells more and he works harder and he's really good. Even as far as like being like 46 or whatever he is. But this
He's aged
this is
quick
just
though, man.
this is just like, I'm doing a job in the middle of a random show, so this is what you get. And that's what a professional does.
Well, look, you know what else he's underestimated on in a way? He does sell, dude. People say he doesn't sell, but he actually does sell. And he sold in this match. Mm-hmm. The only thing that worries me about him, the way he sells, because he looks kind of older now. He's letting the white, he's embracing the whiteness, shall we say, right? The grey hair, the grey beard, whatever, even though he's got no hair. But you can see his beard is grey. He sells like a bit of an old man, if that makes any sense. Like, does that make sense? I can't explain it. Like, when he gets hit,
he kind of looks the same.
He looks the same. When the camera pans out, dude, he looks the same all the time. It's when it sort of zooms in a little bit and you see that he's aged a bit. Because, man, think of Ishii, like you said, about 6 years ago, bro.
Well, he was 6 years younger.
Right, but but it's a huge difference, though, in a way, dude.
It is.
Like, but he can still go, though. He can still go. And I think his selling is very underestimated because he does sell, dude. When the Japanese wrestlers want to sell, they will sell.
This is what Ishii does. If you guys notice, it's actually pretty good. He no-sells it to your face, and then when you're not looking, he sells it because the character is like, I can't let you see me hurt, even though you're hurting me. I can't show you that I'm hurt.
People, for fuck's sake.
Yeah. So like, he'll sit there and take a bunch of shots from a guy, and then he'll knock him down. And then while the guy's like knocked down on the ground, then Ishii starts selling everything that just happened to him. So it's just his way of telling a story in the ring. But that's the whole point, is like, I'm not going to show weakness to you. That's the character. So it works for him. You can't have everybody on the card do it. And a lot of people that try to emulate styles like this don't know about those little nuances, and they just go with the no-selling part. So it doesn't work without the actual sell, and then at the end of the match, a lot of the times, win or lose or draw, he has to get help to the back. So he's selling then.
Always that's part of his shtick, dude. He always gets help to the back. Think about most of the matches that he's been in. He's always done that. That's another thing that people don't point out. That's actually a good take, Vet.
Well, it's just what he does. It's not necessarily
right.
A take,
no. But you're spot on. No. But you're spot on because people don't point that out. But they should. You know what I mean?
Well, here I'm about to point something else out. This is for Roderick Strong. Because this whole match is going to be you guys mostly chopping each other, and then like a couple of bumps or whatever. But like, why are you kayfabing the chops, Roddy? Like, if you noticed, when Ishii's hitting him, he's almost like, I don't know, he's like rolling with it, and he won't, like, won't let him make the sound. Like, these guys were actually hitting each other pretty stiffly, but it didn't make a good sound because when you hit a guy really hard in the chest, like just to hit him, it doesn't make a good smack sound.
No, you got to whip it a bit. You got to flick it.
Chopping a guy.
Yeah, you got to flick the wrist a little bit, to get that sort of sound.
No, you don't flick a wrist, but it's just the thing is it's like, it's all about how your hand is, where you hit on their chest, and like, some of it is like the motion. It's mostly that comes from your shoulder and your hips and stuff like that. And you can actually make a real good popping sound where it sounds like you blistered somebody, and it doesn't. Ouch. It's not that painful, but it still stings.
The first one you've ever gotten would be friggin' tough, though, man. Like, how did it feel getting your first chop, like by someone that can actually chop, though?
Well, I'm a little twisted because I kind of like that.
Really?
Yeah, but that's the problem. Like, some people will hit you and it'll look like a shitty chop, but it really hurts. Like if you get chopped in the nipple, or if they hit you with the side of the hand.
Especially on a cold fucking day or some shit, cold night. Oof.
It's like, let's just say there's a technique and an art to it. If I was good at anything in wrestling, it's that. So I could talk about chops very
That's even
minutely and
cooler.
granularly. But, you know, what I wanted to point out though is that the way you take one, if you're receiving one and you want the guy to look good or sound good, you have to kind of have your shoulders back and you have to sort of relax your chest.
Okay.
And if you tighten up, like you're flexing your pecs, it's not going to make a good sound. You want them to hit all that top meat and it makes a good sound. If you flex it and make your pec harder, it doesn't make a good sound. And
it makes sense, obviously.
Roddy,
so just keep loose, in other words.
When Ishii's swinging at Roddy, Roddy's like moving back with it. So he's not standing there to take the blow. Now Ishii's just standing there and letting Roddy hit him. That's why they were making sense. But if he's going to do that for you, you got to do that for him. You can't just bitch out, especially Roderick Strong. Like Roderick Strong chops people all the fucking time. But he wants to dish it out, but he doesn't want to take it. So it's like, that's rude. You know, that's discourteous.
That is rude.
You must give as good as you get if you're going to do chops. If I'm in the ring and somebody tells me like, hey, I don't like chops, even though I'm really good at chopping, I just won't chop them. Because if they're not going to chop me back, there's no point. So I'll just leave chops out tonight.
So if they tell you, like, look, man, I'm not comfortable getting chopped and whatnot, you will literally not chop them.
Yeah, I'm because I'm not worried about it. Like I can get over. I don't need a move to get me over. So
that's interesting.
But some people don't mind. Some people don't like getting chopped, but they'll go with it anyway because they want the match to be as good as possible. Like there's all kinds of preferences or whatever that you talk about these things when you get to know people and work with them. You know what they like and they don't like.
For sure.
And then you don't have to talk about it with them anymore. But when you're not used to working with somebody, you ask them questions like, you know, what do you want to do? You know, what are you not comfortable with or whatever? I'll be like, I'm going to chop you. Is that okay? Is it okay if I chop you? And it's like, I don't really, it's cool. But if they're not going to do it back, like the whole idea being like, if I chop you, if I'm a heel and I chop you, I want you to get me back and even worse, like harder.
Absolutely. Right.
So if you can't do it or if you suck at it, I'm not going to do it. Like if they suck too, like if I know they like to chop but they suck, I'm just going to be like, we're not chopping. Like, oh, but I wanted to have like, yeah, but you're not good. You know, like if you're not good, I'm not going to let you expose yourself. Certainly not to me because it's probably going to hurt me too. So anyway, whatever their deal is, those two guys, that's up to them. But I just thought it was funny how Roddy's kayfabing the chops on Ishii, but you know, he wants to dish it out. But anyway,
could it be just his character, you know, trying to heal it up by doing that?
No, because that's not. He's still like the character is still standing there taking a chop.
True.
But now he's not selling it correct, or he's not like, why do you chop a guy?
No, I agree.
Chop a guy because it's an open hand strike. That's the kayfabe reason. It's an open hand strike, so it's legal. And
it sounds lethal too, man.
Yeah, the work reason is because the fans will hear that and they'll say, well, they didn't fake that.
Yeah, no,
that's
you're
the old school mentality. It's like if you punch a guy and he doesn't have a mark on him, the fans are going to be like, well, that's a phony punch. Wrestling's fake. If you chop a guy in the chest and your handprint is there and their chest is bleeding, you're like, well, that ain't fake. I saw it. It happened right in front of me. That's why chops exist, for all the fans that wonder why wrestlers do it. But there's a psychology to that. And if you're not going to go with the psychology, then you're just doing it to rib yourself because you're a mark. Now, speaking of psychology, here's something that's in a bigger picture. This is something Ishii does that doesn't make sense. And it's a larger issue in wrestling in general. So Ishii does a move, which is very impressive. He will superplex you from the second rope, but he'll stall with it. So he'll stand on the second rope and he'll hold you up the way the British Bulldog or whoever does stalling suplexes would. And then he'll come back and give you the superplex right there. So it's really cool because he's such a short guy, but he's strong. He's holding you up. And of course you're helping him, but you know, that's beside the point. The point is it's always a spot to impress the people and have them go, oh, look, he's strong. You know, like that's
and that's a signature move of his at this point
right.
too, man. He does
Signature
it all the time.
move.
So yeah.
So here's the issue, Jimmy. What's his finisher?
Isn't it? That's a good point, dude.
What's his? Tell the people what's his finisher, because I know you know it, but they don't know it. Maybe
it's like a brain buster, dude.
right.
Yeah,
He does
so
the brainbuster, the Ghostbuster style brainbuster, the vertical
Right.
drop brainbuster.
So you're basically saying is why do that move basically when your finisher's the brainbuster, right? So
Well, yes, but even reversed. Like, if you've got a guy up in the suplex position and you're on the second rope,
Right.
why wouldn't you give him the brainbuster from there and end it?
true, that's a good point. That's actually a great point. No, you're right. That's
So,
damn, dude. Why did you make me think that way now?
because this is what I do.
Right,
Shout out
no,
to
and
Mark
that's why
Henry.
you're great.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. No, but you're spot on, dude. And you'd think he'd know that, right? Like, honestly, you'd think he would.
You'd think. But I mean, that's the thing. He does that from the ground and from the rope. Depending on how he wants to put his match together, he'll give a guy a suplex. But if
Yeah,
you have a guy up
yeah.
in the suplex position and your finish is a brainbuster, you just got to go for the brainbuster, don't you? That's
Yeah,
the
you
whole
think.
thing. So the idea being, whatever your finisher is, that should be everything that you do besides that should be setting it up for that finisher. The same way, like Okada's finisher, for example, to use another Japanese example. His finish is a clothesline, and all his signature moves are like drop kick to the head, air raid crash neck breaker, top rope elbow, which technically is supposed to land on your neck, but you don't obviously do it. But as a kayfabe, you would drop an elbow in the guy's throat, right?
Right. Doesn't he do
like
a pole driver too?
The DDT,
as a signature?
the
DDT.
the spinning tombstone. Like all
There
these
we
things
go.
are moves that attack the neck, and then he finishes you with a clothesline to the neck. So
That makes sense, though.
right, but he doesn't do like, unless he does like a short arm rainmaker. Sometimes he does a short rainmaker that's not like the real rainmaker. But other than that, he doesn't have a move where he just hits you with a regular clothesline. So
He actually doesn't. No, you're right. He does
So,
not.
that's
Never.
what I mean, but everything else is designed around that. So if Ishii had moves that all led up to the brainbuster, yes, but if you've got a guy in the exact same position as a brainbuster and you don't do it, then you just look dumb. So that's something to think about for wrestlers across the board when you're another example would be, how the Big Show for a while he was using the WMD, it's a punch, right?
Oh, I hated that move, dude. Yeah.
Okay.
Whatever.
So
yeah.
why don't you just start with that?
Knock
a
him
fucking
out.
punch.
Right. Bang.
You're going to go lock up with a guy, and then instead of like just throwing your fist right in his face, you're just going to grab him. Like, no, punch him. If your finish is a punch, let it be the start. I don't get paid by the hour.
To be fair, he has done that before, though, as the finish right from the start, though.
Well, why
He
don't you
has
do it
done
every
it.
time? Is
No,
the
you're
question,
right.
right?
That's true, too, though. No, for sure. I agree. Things
Right.
that make you go, But Nick, you got me thinking, dude. For real, though.
Look at Cold
Especially
Blooded's
with the
comment.
Ishii.
That's another example.
The flatliner you're talking about?
Yeah, The Rock never got a guy up like he's going to do the rock bottom and then just does the. The Rock's not ready for the rock bottom yet.
I can see him doing
Now
that.
we turn it into the meme from the WrestleMania special. And then I said, what if I don't give you the rock bottom, but I give you the flatliner? Yeah.
Nah.
All right.
No, some great points, man. But that one, especially about Ishii, you really got me thinking, man.
I told you I was going to put on the professor robe today, right? The glasses.
Well, it's more than the professor. That's the vet, like, at his best right now. There's his glasses. If you can't see him, he can see you. There you go.
Mm-hmm. That's right. But anyway, so the Underground Kings distract for Roddy to hit the knee. So Ishii does that job, and then they start grabbing him up like they're going to start beating him up some more. And then the
Beat me up,
conglomeration
Scotty.
comes in for the save.
The combination. Yeah.
It's now the official
whatever.
name.
Stupid.
It's great.
Yeah.
This right here is known as the conglomeration, baby.
Yeah, I don't like the name, man. It's a
I
bit of
love
a
it.
tongue twister, but we
10
do
out of 10,
get
man.
we do get Briscoe to
Not
the
yet.
rescue.
Not
Oh
yeah.
well,
Not we
sorry.
don't. We
Yeah,
get a promo too, but right now
yeah.
we just get the. Well, no Orange Cassidy, but we get
No,
Kyle and
no.
Mark. So
Cole looked pumped, dude.
he's
Determined.
he's ready. He's vicious.
Oh God.
All right, then we get a little Dynamite rewind. We take a look back at the hour match from Dynamite. Hour match, Jimmy.
I actually didn't catch Dynamite this past week, but we had an hour match between MJF and Will Ospreay, I assume.
59 minutes 58 seconds to be exact.
Well, now that MJF is your new international champion, is that what it's called still at this point?
Yes.
No, honestly, that's a serious question.
Yes.
Right, because I can never be sure.
Mhm.
That it's surely now Ospreay is going to win the championship, the world championship, in Wembley against Swerve.
How?
I don't know. Somehow they're going to do some bullshit. It
They're gonna
doesn't
put him
matter
in
how.
put him in a three-way with Danielson and Swerve?
Oh shit, you're right. Yeah, they will put him in a three-way. Actually,
No.
you don't
Fuck
think so?
Will Ospreay. Fuck him. Just because they're having a big event in his home. This
Come on,
moron
bruv.
went and got a tattoo last year. He doesn't deserve a world championship just because they're going to a town.
That's
He could
true.
get it. He
That's
could get
true.
it next year.
That I mean, I agree with you, but I just find it odd that he already lost his belt. You know what I mean?
It is kind of weird, but at the same time, it's like he did lose it to MJF at least, which the match was great. I loved it. It didn't feel like an hour match. It felt like a good long match, but I couldn't
Well,
have
that's
put
a
a
good
time
thing.
on it if I wasn't timing it. But just good match from those guys. It was really good.
As it should
MJF
be.
kept Will Ospreay's Will Ospreayness down to a minimum, but he
Will
still got all
Ospreay's-
his shit
Will
in. It
Ospreay's
just made sense because MJF was doing it.
grounded him.
So MJF is so underrated. Even as much as people praise him, he's still underrated. But yeah, it was a good match. So if you don't mind long matches, I would recommend it. I'm not recommending it to you, Jimmy. I mean, you've seen one, you've seen them all. But I mean, like anybody listening, if you missed it, you like good matches, or if you like either one of these guys or both these guys, check it out. But now we're going to get to this could be a real collision here.
Ooh.
Because I think we have different opinions on this. This is now the long awaited, and by long I mean what, 2-3 weeks?
God.
Maybe a couple
yeah,
weeks.
maybe 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
Less than a month for sure. But we've been awaiting it, no matter how long. We have been awaiting it. We have not gotten it until now. We were waiting, and it's here.
We're waiting a long time.
And even though we didn't know his name or anything, and some people thought it was Ricochet, even though this guy clearly had hair.
I couldn't believe it, bro. Like people were still thinking that all the way till the 11th hour, bro.
Yep. Some guy with hair jumped in and out came Ricochet, but nope.
I thought I could have sworn it was Glacier.
Ooh.
Ooh, Glacier.
Blood runs cold.
Yes. Can we
Bro,
get a
you know
stable?
who's underrated? Speaking of MJF, you know who else is underrated? Glacier. Man. Glacier was fucking cool.
He was Sub-Zero after Sub-Zero.
Yeah. But even the matches
come on.
too, like
It was quick. It was quick, bro. Straight to the point, man.
But he looked cool in there. Like his martial arts
did.
looked really good. Like he had
He
some
does have a
decent-
legit.
He
He
could
did
kind of
have a
work.
legit martial
Like,
arts. Hey, him and friggin' oh my god, Canyon. What was his fucking his
Mortis?
mask gimmick name? Mortis.
The Beast
I was
Mortals.
thinking of Mortis. I was thinking that. That's why I was second guessing myself. But him and Mortis, remember that? It was Sub-Zero against Reptile.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was the shit on Nitro back in the day, bro.
Yeah, bro. But even just Glacier had just regular matches with people, and I remember watching when I was going back and watching old Nitros, on the 24/7 back when WCW or when WWE had the 24/7 channel.
Yeah, remember that? That'd be 24/7.
And I came
Funny.
across a match with Glacier versus Bobby Eaton, and I was watching the match,
Yeah.
and I was
Beautiful
like,
Bobby Eaton?
huh?
Beautiful Bobby Eaton?
Yeah, beautiful Bobby. And I was watching the match with Glacier and Bobby Eaton, and I was like, holy shit, Bobby Eaton is rotten in this match. Glacier's actually good in this match. Why is what is wrong? I thought Bobby Eaton was one of the best workers ever, and he is. But like in this match, he sucked, and Glacier was carrying him. It was weird. I was like, Glacier's good? I didn't know Glacier was good.
Damn. Glacier, I'll be honest, I didn't hate Glacier. I remember when he debuted on fucking Nitro, bro. And it's funny because Cold Blooded, damn, you were only 9 years old. I was a friggin' teen when Glacier debuted,
I wasn't even born when Glacier came out. I watched all that stuff after.
Oh, sure.
I got my Nintendo 64 from a pawn shop. I didn't.
No, but for real, man, I hate to show
didn't
my
have
age.
My parents pre-order it at Toys R Us.
You did, didn't you? Nah, but anyway, that's funny. But no, look, I remember when Glacier fucking debuted. I really did, man. Back in '97, I believe.
WCW Saturday Night versus the Gambler.
Wait, was it Saturday Night?
Yes.
I remember his Nitro debut. Actually, I don't remember his Saturday Night.
They gave it a test run.
Who the fuck was the Gambler, bro? I never seen the Gambler.
I can't remember his name, but he was like a good, a good journeyman type guy.
Journeyman. Aren't all gamblers journeymen, if you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, but you know what I mean. In the wrestling term sense of like a guy that's been to different territories and good worker, but never going to get pushed.
The Gambler, though.
Yeah, he was a gambler. Like his gimmick was. You guys could Google him. You could like.
I gotta see these.
Yeah, he came out in a satin jacket and he had like playing cards. Like, oh my God. He just looks like a regular guy. He looks like a guy that works at, like your oil change, like a Jiffy.
Not the Gambler, Kenny Rogers.
Yeah, clearly he took that gimmick, except he didn't look like Kenny Rogers.
Oh, here we go. There's even a Wikipedia page, bro.
If I remember correctly.
Jason Statham. Well, the Gambler, it says here on Wikipedia, Jeffrey Gann is an American retired professional wrestler best known for his time with World Championship Wrestling under the ring name The Gambler. Apparently, he was a jobber to the stars between 1990 and get this, all the way till 99, bro. Wow.
And they were like, they hyped up that Glacier debut so much. I was fucking ready. I was ready for that debut, and I wasn't going to miss it. And it was on WCW Saturday Night versus the Gambler. And I was like, hey, all right.
Damn, bro.
He did karate and won. It's great. So.
Oh, man. I never seen the Gambler. I'll probably remember him if I saw him, but I don't remember him, dude. He never made a Nitro.
He wouldn't have been on Nitro that many times. He was more of a WCW Worldwide or Pro kind of guy.
Yeah, and they were bad shows back then, bro. Worldwide or Pro was shocking. Disgusting
That's just when you couldn't get enough wrestling and you just needed more matches in your
yeah, no, it was bad,
shows.
Bro.
But anyway, we're not talking about the Gambler. We're not talking about Glacier. As much as we'd love to talk about Glacier, we're talking about Hologram. How do you say it, Jimmy? Say it.
Hologram. That's what I say.
Very, very funny. I don't like giving that woman any more press, but okay. So just like on the count of three, I'll count to three, and you just say the word how you actually say it. Right?
All right, fine.
All right, 1, 2, 3.
Hologram.
You do not talk like that, Jimmy. I do apologize.
All right, hologram. There we go. Happy?
You say hologram?
Yeah, hologram.
Okay. Well, I just wonder because you could say hologram, you could say hologram, you could say hologram. Like there's different ways people pronounce things differently. So I just wonder.
Hologram.
I think I naturally say hologram.
No, hologram. Yeah, that's how I say it. The way you say it.
Yeah. Okay. So there you go. From across the world, we say things the same, but other people will say it differently.
I mean, could they go differently and do a hologram?
I don't even think there's a wrong way to pronounce it. I think it could go either or. But anyway, yeah, the big debut. He's taking on Gringo Loco, who's a guy they only bring out to debut a luchador.
But I
He's
remember
the
Gringo
gambler of
Loco.
luchadors.
He
Like
really
when
is.
when they want to showcase a new guy like Commander or Vikingo, they put him in a match with Gringo Loco. Who, if you haven't seen Gringo Loco, he's just some fat white guy, but he's really
He's
athletic
crazy.
and yeah, he's a lucha libre specialist. So he's pretty good in his own right, but I just don't like
He's
looking
been
at him
around.
because look at him. But
Yeah, I know.
you know,
He looks.
he got
yeah.
the task of like, all right, let's get this guy over, and I think they picked the right guy. But
No, they did. He did
but
make
Jimmy
him look good, man.
Jimmy here, he's not. He's apparently got some things to say. So I'll let you go first. That way we can like finish with a positive note.
Oh, okay. Well, first of all, this hologram looks awfully like Serpentico or something, bro.
Mm.
Like, I don't know who the fuck it is. I'm hearing all sorts of rumors, but really, dude, he's just a surfboard-looking dude who does all the moves that we've seen a million times over already in this very company. Show me something that someone else hasn't done that he's done. What's so special about this hologram? You know what would have been even better for me and what would have got it over even more? If a hologram literally came out to the ring. Do you remember like the laser show that Glacier, I'm sorry for bringing up Glacier again, but do you remember the laser show that Glacier would have when he came out, those blue lasers?
You want a Gringo to wrestle that, the laser show?
Yeah, like the lasers come out, but then it's hologram. Like, you know what I mean? He comes out. Apparently he's he's a luchador, apparently, because he wears a mask, so we're just going to assume that. And he's from Mexico, right? Correct? Holograms do have a home city, apparently.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
I forget what Teotihuacan, is that where he's from? They said some crazy Aztec sounding city.
From the top of the pyramid?
Yeah.
Could he be from...
Well, no, it's supposed to be Aramis. From...
Oh, yeah, that's what I heard. Aramis, yeah. That's right, from AAA.
Right, which I've seen a time or two, but I'm not going to lie and tell you, like, I could pick him out, like, oh, this is definitely Aramis. Like, I haven't seen him in so long.
I can't tell you who the fuck Aramis is. I've just heard that that's who it is.
I've seen him. So yeah, but yeah, and Labra saying, is this hologram guy the brainchild of TK? Yeah,
Yes,
like, this is supposedly a creation of Tony's that he's been looking to put on the right guy. So
could it be Serpentico even though, instead of Aramis?
It's not Serpentico. Serpentico still works there. He's on Ring of Honor, and he's even skinnier than this guy.
And this guy's pretty skinny. You know, people thought it was the Red Ranger at one stage, even from Power Rangers. That's not crap. That's what people are saying as a joke.
So far you're saying he's generic and he does moves that everyone else has done.
Pretty much. And even then, when he does his moves, did you notice, like, you know, just give credit to where credit's due with Gringo Loco. He literally, you know, made him look as good as possibly be. But a lot of the moves were very choreographed again, dude. Too slow for a hologram. Holograms should look a lot snappier, a lot quicker, and not like where he jumps up, especially that part where he jumped on top of Gringo Loco on the front, from the front though. I can't remember what the move was called. But basically he jumps on his shoulders from the front.
Popped.
The crowd popped. Did they pop? Really?
Yep. Mm-hmm. That was one of the loudest reactions that he got, was that
it
move.
Felt like it took him 3 minutes to pull that off, man. There was a point where he was standing up on his shoulders, I think a little too long, in my opinion.
I was talking about the very first spot of the match. Are you talking about something from later?
It could have been a bit later, what I'm talking about, right? There was a point where he jumped on his shoulders.
But no, when he opened the match, he just like, they did a spot where he just like jumps up on Gringo Loco's shoulders and stands there, and the crowd's like, oh, it was pretty cool looking.
From the front though, or from the back?
Yep, from the front.
Then he must have done it twice.
All right.
That I remember.
You guys that saw it, you know, you say what you think while we're talking about it. You know, thumbs up or down for the debut of Hologram. But what else, Jimmy? Like,
he did remind me of Suicide also, just quietly, man.
Oh, it's like a brand new made-up character.
But at least Suicide has something to it, though, dude. Like, Suicide wasn't such a bad creation.
I mean,
compared to Hologram. Where are we going with? Are we going to get a cruiserweight division now in AEW?
AEW is a
more bouts. Division. Well, it is actually, but a legit cruiserweight division though. All jokes aside, they're pretty much all cruiserweights over there. But for real though, could we possibly get a cruiserweight division?
No. So anyway,
Cold Blooded loves it.
That was Cold Blooded loves it. So anything else before I go, or?
No, you go for it, man. I just felt like it was a little too much hype for the 2 weeks of hype. You know what I mean?
They did a lot of work in those 2 weeks, huh?
I can't get into these luchador weird names, bro. Like holograms. If you're gonna call yourself a hologram, I mean, come on, man. I want to see. They should do actual edits, man. Fuck it, right? We all know pro wrestling is what it is, right?
This is wrestling, though. Like, you literally had a guy called the Crusher. Like,
I know
that guy was super over. You know, like what? This, you know, naming a guy hologram, that's not enough to warrant like hate, but it's okay. You don't have to feel any certain way.
He glows, I guess.
You know about it. Yeah, he glows. He does glow.
I like glowing things, just quietly.
Well, here's the thing. I'm looking at. I guess what I was looking at was like not what it's going to be or what it could be. I looked at what they did, and I like his entrance. I like the look of his entrance. When the lights come on, he kind of looks like there's a lot of luchadors that have cooler outfits than him. But
yeah, very generic, dude. They could do better with that.
But but at the same time, it's like, well, you know, it's all been done. It's hard to come up with something new, and it doesn't have to be too crazy. So I was looking at what is he going to pull off and to what, you know, how's he going to execute it? Didn't look like they messed anything up. Everything he did was very impressive. Even if we've seen some of it before, some of it I haven't seen, a couple things I'd never seen. Some of the stuff I haven't seen in a long time, and not everybody does it. And it's very rare to see guys attempting some of these things that actually don't fuck it up, because we've talked about, you know, guys that are known for one thing and then them not being able to do it. Like how many things did Vikingo screw up? How many things did Commander screw up or whatever? Like Commander's one thing is running on the ropes, and there were times when he would struggle with that. So
yeah.
This guy did a lot of things, and he did them all pretty well, and a lot of that has to do with the credit going to Gringo Loco too for pulling it off.
100%, dude.
But that's the whole thing. Like that was the idea. The idea was to get him over, and they did that, and he got over. He didn't fuck it up. Gringo could have tried his best to get him over, and Hologram could have fucked it up, but he didn't. So they both did their part. I thought the match was exciting. It wasn't too long. It was a good amount of showcase for a debuting character where Gringo didn't get like any prolonged heat on him. The only criticism I would have for what they did, if they came back through the curtain after that, well, this wouldn't happen, because if I had anything to do with that show, I would have told them to do this before they went out there. But there was a spot right at the end before the finish where it looked like Gringo was trying to get his hands on him, and he kept escaping. Like he was doing all these like elusive maneuvers, like through the turnbuckle and ducking and doing all this flipping, ducking, sliding, whatever, to get out of his way. And it looked like Gringo Loco was getting tired trying to grab him. And that's a good spot, except they should have opened with that.
That makes sense, right?
Because now you're establishing like, man, he really is like a hologram because you can't touch him, right? Like that's the joke. But if he does that, right? So Gringo tries to grab him, and he keeps ducking or whatever, and then he's like, "Are you gonna fight or what? You know, like, are you just gonna run the whole time? Or are you gonna fight?" And then that's when he starts hitting him with the spots, and it's like, "Oh shit, I guess he is gonna fight." Like, that's the storytelling of the match they could have done. Other than that, I liked everything they did. and the finish was he does like an airplane spin, and then a sit out power bomb out of the airplane spin. So, you know, he doesn't do like a crazy flippy of all the crazy flippies and stuff that he did and that other guys do. His finish wasn't just another top rope crazy flippy thing. He actually hits you with a wrestling move to beat you. So I don't know. I would give his debut a thumbs up myself, because of what they executed. Not that he looks the best or that he's the most innovative, but degree of execution, I would say. I would be happy with it if I was Tony.
See, for me, the jury's still out. I need to see more. And when I say I need to see more, what are they going to do with this guy moving forward? Do you know what I mean? Like, what's his spot in this company? Is he going to be an attraction type of guy? You know, where we've seen once a blue moon? Or is he going to be a thing in this company? If he's going to be a thing, that means he's got to be wrestling like-minded wrestlers, right? Basically. I mean, how is he ever going to be taken seriously if you don't bring in a cruiserweight belt at this point? Because that's the ceiling, really, for him. I don't see him ever getting any belt.
I don't know.
Not that he needs it.
Bro, if you're going to put Jungle Boy on my TV every week, if you're going to try to tell me Adam Cole's the top guy, like, don't even give me no shit about hologram, please. I'm not talking about you.
No, I know.
Like, you can't look at this.
FTR?
You can't look at this company and then start talking about, well, it's not realistic if a guy, you know. It's...
No. I want them to go full on, bro. And when I say full on, I mean, was the ring darkened for his match? For some reason, I get the impression it was.
Maybe.
But see, I'm not 100% certain. If it was darkened, and I could be very wrong, for some reason I do get that impression in my head. But if it was, right, then you might as well do some trickery, man. Like, 1 minute you see him on one side of the ring, next thing you know, you see the light go out where he was, and he's on the other side of it. Like, give me some hologram, bro.
Well, then you got cooperation. Now it's turning into the Wyatt family. But Javi says the light presentation reminded me of Sin Cara, so maybe it was, but I didn't like that. I never like when wrestlers get lighting treatment. It's dumb. Like Kane, The Fiend, Sin Cara, like, I don't like that. And eventually they just give up on it anyway, so just don't even start it.
Right.
Is my thing.
I mean, with The Fiend, all that red shit, that was just silly. Let's be honest.
All right.
Yeah.
We got a differing opinion here on hologram debut, but that's good. We'll see where he goes. Where we're going is Dustin Rhodes and the Von Erichs backstage. It's Kevin and the kids, and they're basically just saying, "Hey kids, listen to us, and you're gonna make it."
Yeah, listen to Uncle Dustin now. Basically, Daddy can't be there holding your hands.
Yeah. I'm getting tired of going places with you. So,
and without shoes either.
Right. Yeah. They want me to wear shoes lots of places, and I'm not down with it. I want to go back to Hawaii. Yeah. So, next we get our Mark Briscoe promo. Again, genius. If anytime we get a Mark Briscoe promo segment, I'm just gonna say genius. My review is genius. Man's a genius.
No, you can't hate on Mark Briscoe, bro.
No, go watch it. Every time Mark Briscoe has a promo, go watch it. Then we get... okay, now here's where the show starts taking a little bit of a slide for me, because we got the Thunder Rosa versus Deonna Purrazzo Lumberjack match.
Kill me now.
Well, I'll kill you shortly. Well, before I kill you, Jimmy...
Yes.
I want 20 people to gather around and stand there so that when I kill you, you fall on them and they all fall over. Because we haven't seen that since the YouTube dark shows got canceled.
Don't. I mean, what can we say about this? We've seen this feud. Dude, again, I've asked this, I think, a week or two ago. What's the hate between these two? What's the real issue between these two, man? Honestly.
I don't know, but it's there. Damn it. They just don't like each other. Damn it.
And they continuously freaking wrestle with no real, like, story behind it. You know what I'm saying, dude? It feels... And they're going to tell you, look, this is storytelling. Every AEW mark tab will definitely point, this is storytelling. Can't you see? If you don't understand it, you just don't get it.
Feud.
Like, it's a red hot feud, man. Can't you see we've had 3 matches now in the last 3 weeks? That's a feud in AEW. But where's the context, man? I want the context of this feud. Like, what's going on, bro? Like, why
it's
did
North
we leave?
versus South. It's Jersey versus
Joyce,
graveyards of Tijuana.
even though she's from San Antonio, technically.
Yeah,
I'm just saying. I'm just pointing it out. But yeah, cool. If that's the case, okay. But I'm assuming this is not over yet either, right? I mean,
well, I don't know. The biggest, the finish of the match. So I guess this is what you're referring to, because it seems like a new wrinkle has been added to this. But Taya Valkyrie very slowly and seductively and theatrically hands Deanna a turnbuckle, like the wrench size part of the turnbuckle, not the pad, the actual turnbuckle. She's like, here.
Yeah.
And Deanna takes it. Hits.
Dark Perazo.
Dark turnbuckle. But she was already dark. She's just a bitch.
Yeah, that's true.
So she hits the Rosa in the face with a turnbuckle, tosses it out of the ring. 1, 2, 3. Now an alliance has been formed between Taya and Deanna for some reason.
TNA, Team TNA, bro.
That's right, baby.
It's the forbidden door happening. They're back.
That's right.
They're not just in WWE.
Yeah, WWE ain't gonna have all the fun. We're getting some TNA action here.
It's TNAW, whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, like NXT.
My biggest note
TNA.
that I noticed out of all this, like, whatever you said about the angle and is this going to continue and what's their heat and all this stuff, like, I don't know. I wasn't really thinking about that. I was just looking at the Lumberjacks and I was like, Abaddon's just out there acting like a normal person.
Yeah. With green face paint, no less.
Yeah, she's just out there with her Beetlejuice look and just acting like a normal girl wrestler.
Who was the big woman, dude, that the camera got a lot of, man? That was wearing it looked like she was wearing some sort of sweater around her waist, dude. The flannel shirt around it. Do you know what I'm talking about? She's kind of chunky.
No.
She looked like, do you want to be honest? She looked like a butch, bro. She looked like,
I don't know.
Okay, well, for some reason she kept popping up on my screen. If anyone knows who I'm talking about, please tell me who the hell that is, because I've never seen her in my life.
I'd have to see, but like I didn't recognize some of the women. I didn't recognize, but that's I really I don't want to say that much more about this match because a lot of it wasn't good. So I don't want to.
Bad, dude.
I like both these women, so I don't want to put them down too much. But this sucked. So the Patriarchy are on their way to the ring, and then we get our main event, another 6-man. But at least this has got some titles on the line.
And we knew this was happening from the week before, so.
Yeah, we knew. We already knew. Patriarchy versus the Bang Bang Gang.
Guns up.
And,
Or was it guns down?
Guns down.
Yeah. And you know what's even sadder, dude?
Are the Patriarchy.
Are they new champions?
The mom sprayed Juice Robinson in the face with some
Juice got
aerosol
juiced.
Something.
Juice got juiced. And basically, this is the most laziest.
But not the dinosaur, the wrestling move.
Yes. That's right. Kill switched. By Christian, that is.
Mm-hmm.
But in saying that, this is the laziest build to a match. Remember, they stripped the Bang Bang Gang, so then these guys can go over in the Patriarchy. So, in TK logic, I assume, well, this protects you guys. You know what I mean? This protects you, so we're going to strip you guys. Yeah, I know. It's so dumb. To me, they lost the belts right here, right now, bro. And I'm not happy about it, to be honest. I know the trios belts don't mean shit, right? And they don't, right? But what's it going to do now? They're going to go parading around now, the Patriarchy. We're the best trios in fucking all of wrestling. We're going to take on all comers, I guess. I mean, does this boil down to where we get eventually Edge coming back with another 2 fucking has-beens? And that leads to another trios feuds. I mean, come on, bro. I mean, I'm sorry. I'm fans of these guys, but like, when I say fans, I'm talking about Edge and Christian. But man, do they need the trios belts, the patriarchy? I get it. He's doing it for them, not for himself, right? I get it. But whatever, man. Like, where are we going now with these guys?
Where are we going? Where are we going? Jimmy always wants to know where we're going. And when we get there,
well,
Jimmy
I'd like to
care.
know.
He wants to know where we're going next.
Well, I want to know because
it's a never-ending story. We're going to next week is where we're going, first of all. We'll be right back here for another wreckage.
Well, that's true.
So
another wreckage. But no, really though. But what's the end game with this shit? Like, what's?
I don't know. It doesn't matter what the end game is.
True,
I don't have to predict it.
Why do I care?
I'm not betting on it. And
true.
All I'm doing is watching it and reviewing what they give me. This is what I noticed. If you want to know what I think, I don't care about the future of the booking. The whole reason of watching weekly shows is to just see what happens. But
no, you're right.
But this is what I notice. The whole patriarchy, that gimmick, they have no idea what their individual roles are. Like, it became very apparent watching this match that these are just guys that are on a team for no real reason. Now, Christian has tried to like make something out of it, but in the match when you're watching it, like, either Christian's not teaching them or they're not listening to what
I'd say the latter bit.
I don't even know about that. I don't even know if Christian knows what to teach in the first place. But like, for example,
interesting.
Okay, if I asked you, hey, what's Nick Wayne? Like, if I ask you, like, in the stereotypes of wrestling, how would you describe that character of like what he is and what he's supposed to do?
Well, he's a kid that's got a dead father that used to be a pro wrestler that needs some sort of male authority figure in his life, like needs that male role model, right? I mean, that's his gimmick.
Right.
Well, how else can you put it?
Well, you already said the key word first. Kid.
Right.
He's a literal kid.
Literally.
He's barely, I don't even know if he's old enough to vote. So
he's not. He's not 21 yet.
As the kid, and he's so skinny. Like, he makes Hologram look like, Luchasaurus. So if you have a skinny kid on your team, then your role in the match is you let, well, this all ties in, but like we get to whatever Luchasaurus kill switch is supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
But he's supposed to be the dominant big man, but then the kid is supposed to come in and pick up the scraps. True. Like, if you're in a 6-man tag, you come in, you get some like weak ass looking offense in, and the heat is that it doesn't look like you could hurt anybody, and everybody in the crowd
he's like
thinks
the chicken. He should be the chicken shit. It should be the chicken shit heel.
Right.
In this fucking.
He doesn't do that. Place. He's in there. He's like picking up Juice Robinson and like Irish whipping him to the ropes. Like, please. Juice Robinson could just hook that rope and stand there. Like, he's not moving. And he's like, bumping the Gun Brothers or whatever, like moving them around, picking them up, shoving them to the corner, tagging out. It's just like, bro, you're not muscling anybody around. You're like 6'2" and you weigh like 170 pounds. Like, you're not pushing anybody around. So your heat should be coming in, getting a quick flurry of weak looking shit, and right when they're about to bow up on you, you tag out.
Right. Exactly.
That's your role. Your role is not to do cool moves or act like you're just a normal wrestler. Then Luchasaurus comes in. He's supposed to be like, he's the silent, badass or whatever.
He should be
and
the
then
hot
he gets
tag,
a guy
bro.
on the rope, and like what we were talking about, chops earlier.
Right.
He gets like Juice Robinson or whatever on the ropes, and he's like, like, get the fuck out of here with that. I would have booed him the fuck out of the building for hitting him that weakly. Like this giant guy going, Like, what kind of a chop is that? Just don't do it. That's what I mean when I say, like, if I was in the ring with Luchasaurus and he'd be like, I'm going to put you on the rope and chop you, I'm like, no, better not, because you suck, you know?
They're headless chickens, bro. They're running around like headless fucking chickens, bro. For real.
But then as the muscle of the team, but then during, one of the, I don't remember which gun it was, he come in and make a comeback, and like, he gives Luchasaurus a drop kick, and he just takes a flat back bump. No
sucks,
stagger,
dude.
no like pinwheeling, no just flat back bump like we're the same size. Like he's fucking clueless for somebody that's got
really
like
is.
a degree.
No, it really is. Yep.
And he's been wrestling as long as he has. Like, how could somebody be this bad? This is why you got released out of fucking WWE developmental, and then they got people like Kalani Jordan on there.
Dude, they said to him that he sucks that bad, pretty much, as a pro wrestler. And he still hasn't improved.
He's fucking rotten. But that's the thing.
Really
like, if you're rotten and you're a giant, and he's not even like a giant, he's like the mid-sized giant.
What is he, 6'4"?
He's
that.
big. He's jacked.
No,
right?
Of course, he's big, he's jacked. But he's not like, there's a lot bigger, put it that way.
Yeah, but not in AEW. So
No,
and certainly not in this fucking match. So that's what I'm saying. Like, he's in there, and if you're a big guy, you don't have to do much. So the less you do, like, one, you shouldn't do much because it's the shits. Two, you shouldn't do much because the way you look and the way they look, not that the Gun Club and Juice Robinson are small by any means, but still compared to you should be devastating. So
right.
Everything that you do that they're able to kick out of or survive, it buries you. So the more you do, the less it means. So you need to come in there and hit a big devastating move, and everything that you do should be a match ender. And then one of them has to come in and break up the pin to save their partner because they were done. That's the psychology. You have a shitty kid who is ineffective. You have a giant dinosaur who should kill everybody.
He's ineffective.
And then you get the leader who doesn't actually want to do anything himself. He wants the other two to do it for him. It's like Chris Jericho was on Dynamite. I think it was Dynamite, or was it Rampage? No, it was Rampage.
Rampage, right.
He was on Rampage against the Outrunners, and he let Big Bill beat up the Outrunners, and he was literally on the apron texting on his phone. That's what Christians should be doing in that sense. Like, I'm that disinterested. I'm just going to be texting on my phone. Not that he has to copy exactly what Chris Jericho does, but whatever the equivalent is.
I get you, right.
He's disinterested. The other two doing the work. Then he has to come and like clean up the mess when they fail because the babyfaces are getting over. Like one of them catches Nick Wayne and starts kicking the shit out of him and making a comeback on him. And then he's got to break shit up. And then when the heels finally get over or whatever, like he does that one thing at the end and then steals the victory. That they did that at least. Even though the heat went to the wife, but I mean the mom, but I'm that's good too, because otherwise what is she doing there? So the psychology of the finish made sense and everything else, and the match was fine except for the couple things I mentioned. But the whole thing is, as I watch this, what is glaring to me as a like sticking out like a sore thumb is that these guys should be way better at their heel rolls than they are, and they're not.
I feel like they've gone backwards.
I'm disappointed.
They've gone backwards since they've started, to be honest, man. I felt at the start, when they first started doing this shit, that they were onto something, and now they just... It's like they've phoned it in, man. I know you're not the biggest fan of Christian, and if correct me if I'm wrong, but was it you that said he's overrated in many ways?
Yes.
Okay.
And he's lost me from being overrated. Like, he started out at overrated. Well, he didn't, he was overrated with me, and then he's petered out from there since he's been in AEW.
Well, I think he's better than that, and he's a lot more switched on than that. I just think even he knows deep down this is going nowhere. Come on, man. He was red hot at one stage. I know it was cheap heat when you think about it, doing what he was doing, right? But still, man, he was red hot. the story had some sort of juice to it. Now we've stagnated. You know what I mean? He's not even doing the dead father thing anymore, like to other wrestlers and whatnot. I think
he gets a chance, but he doesn't get that many chances.
Yeah, but that's the thing.
Him on the mic wasn't what I was talking about as far as being overrated. I was just saying.
No.
He's been a guy for years, and people say, I love watching Christian work, and then I watch him work, and I'm like...
You're thinking even his brains is a bit overrated, like the way he looks at professional wrestling, right?
Well, I don't know. It's like, I always wonder, it's like, well, maybe I just don't know him. I got to give him some credit. But then I watch a match like this, and I'm like, I feel like he could be doing more. I don't know.
Look, I'm not one of those guys that thinks he's fucking... You know, there was one stage where everyone was talking about him like as one of the best in the business, period, yeah? I've never felt that way about Christian. But, and as far as him being better than Edge, I used to think he's got a better brain for the business.
I go with that.
Yeah, but as far as, you know, character goes, Edge is on a different level, right? You know what I'm saying? But I don't know, man. I just think he's phoning it in a little bit. Because why get pissed off at it at this point? If they're not listening to him, or if TK is not listening to any of his input on what he wants to do, what can you do, man? You just got to be like, oh, fuck it. Just like you know, the a la carte menu, right? You just got to be like, oh, well, it is what it is. Because I know he's not dumb enough. Everything's back to front with this group, like you said. You know, the kid should be fucking doing the chicken shit hill thing, where, you know, he gets the scrap wins, you know what I mean? He comes in for the scraps. The big for nothing dinosaur should be friggin' big and tough and pretty much the guy that, you know, that cleans house. And Christian, you know, is another one where he can play both sort of sides. He can play even the kid role, the chicken shit hill, taking the scraps, but also get the wins by like whatever, you know what I mean? I just feel like they're just everyone's out of place. No one's thinking, you know, about their match, bro. And it shows. And that's worrisome for me anyway when it comes to this. If I was up to them, just blow it up already at this point, man. Like, I'm just done. And the thing about, you know, the kid, what's his name? What's his name again? For some reason I forgot his name. Nick Wayne. There you go. Dude, I know TK and a minority of the friggin' IWC looked at this kid as something hot when he was coming through. Do you remember before he was 18, he was, you know, doing his indie shit and people were hyping him up? I have not seen the fucking hype about this kid, period, man. I don't get it. Sure, he can fucking flip, as do many of them do. But that's it. Good for him. Doesn't impress me. You know what I mean? He's been in the business now for quite a few years. To me, he's going to be nothing more than a mid-card guy, man. Like, look, I could be wrong. Maybe he'll prove us wrong in the future, Vet. He's still young. He's still got time, at least. But damn it, change that look. Cut your hair, man, or do something. I don't know, man. He just looks too much of
the American Kyle Fletcher. The American small Kyle Fletcher.
Even worse than that, though.
Well,
and
here's another thing. He's just weird. Like,
yeah, that too, right? He is.
He move the way he moves in the ring. Maybe that's what everybody's talking about. Like when they call him a prodigy, maybe it's because like his movement or whatever is he picks that up, like, you know, moving around the ring and everything. But like when I'm watching him, it's very strange the way he will like specifically not look at his opponents. It's a weird thing I've never seen before. But like, for example, there's a spot where he goes to knock one of the guns off the apron, right? He goes to knock one of the brothers off the apron. The other one is right there, and he like reaches like to try to grab Nick, and Nick like moves out of the way, but he never even sees the grab attempt. He just knows it's coming, but he won't look at it. Like he won't even be like, ah ha ha, like you would sell that the guy exists on the apron, and he just won't look at, like he didn't look at him. It was weird. It's fucking weird how he doesn't look at people. Or like when he's getting punched in the face, like he doesn't look at Juice Robinson. When Juice Robinson's throwing those jabs, he's just looking straight ahead while the jabs are coming from here. He won't look at Juice Robinson. It's like, are you shy? Are you trying to avoid making eye contact in a
Shy.
fight? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Imagine that. Imagine
I've
he
never
was.
seen anybody act like that.
Maybe he's a little, you know.
Maybe that's why he's getting a push. But
Maybe.
nonetheless, look, we're done with the match. We're done with the show. New champions. Great job, everybody. I picked this stuff
Bravo.
apart, but if you're just looking at this like, hey, I'm just sitting here watching a 6-man tag match, it's more than good enough for you. So, you know, my analyses aside, and you know, Jimmy, you have your opinions on it as well, but just looking at what they did, I can't give them that bad of a grade on that last match. I didn't really enjoy the girls' lumberjack match either, but hey, you know, like, can't win them all. Nobody's perfect. They had a nice little gimmick match, semi-main event gimmick match. So cool. We got some people on TV, got them a payday. Great. Good for that. So like overall, I'm gonna, and I like, again, the formatting of the show was pretty good. They moved everything along. I felt like things were mostly the right length. So all that being said, and just the amount of stuff I got on it that was on my menu, I'm going to give this show an A.
What? Damn. Hey, that's interesting. I know I said to you a bit off the air, like when we were texting each other before the show, I'm going to give this an F. To be fair, I probably won't go that harsh, but I am going to still go a D, and that's a D+. I just felt like there was a lot of hype on Hologram. Maybe I expected too much. Then again, did I really? I'm not too sure, but
leave Hologram alone.
I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry, but Hologram, I need to see more. Like I said, the jury's out with him. But I didn't like the setup of the show. I didn't like the way the crowd sounded. I didn't like the production of it. There was just a lot that just made it feel second rate right now, dude. I'm sorry. And when you watch Slammiversary, you'll see what I mean also with that. I haven't watched the show, but I've seen highlights. And you understand, that looked a million times better than this did.
It better look better, though. It's one of their premium events.
Well, yeah, that's true, too.
This is a random Saturday show in a fucking residency.
Well, that's my point. What is this show? I mean, is this show supposed to be A- to the A+, which is Dynamite? Or is it supposed to be on the Rampage, a 2-hour Rampage level? Because it's starting to feel 2 hours. It's starting to feel like a 2-hour Rampage type of show. Because even Rampage has kind of gotten a little bit better lately in terms of what's on the show. That's what I'm confused about.
It's got food.
It's got food.
I like the menu.
Well, that's fair enough. I got a little bit sick. Got a bit of the runs after this menu for me personally. Oh. Yeah, unfortunately, I was running to the toilet. But yeah, D+ for me, man. I just expected a whole lot more. Maybe if I looked at it without looking at it from the production aspect and all that, I might have been a little more generous.
Well, that's right. Time.
Exactly. And we got to put this. That's what I said.
Once again, to close the show the same way I opened the show, you guys said run smaller venues. This is what you get.
I know, it's my fault too. But look, Cold Blooded agrees. A+ from Cold Blooded. But Revamped is with me on a D. Harvey says C. And Labras says C+ also, with Harvey saying C+. I guess it's pretty split down the middle, man. This one's it's one of those shows you either loved it or you hated it, I guess.
It maybe seems like it just lives and dies by the menu.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
If you don't like, maybe I like more of it than you did. I think we agree on, like, obviously any Mark Briscoe's good. Like, I'm pretty sure you and I are in agreement with that.
Yeah,
we seem 100%. To be in agreement with Darby Allin. We're probably in agreement on Ishii.
Oh,
so
absolutely.
we agree there. So the differentiating points would have been like Hologram and, you know, a couple other things. So some people, it could be a C+ for them, and that's fair. I couldn't even argue that. It really just comes down to your menu. But I think they could. The production was what it was. There's nothing else they could do about it. That's the building they got. That's what they had to work with. That's what they did. But as far as the show they tried to put on, hey man, it's wrestling. They did a wrestling show. We got wrestling.
That's it. No, and that's fair enough. And as Revamp says, right down the middle, daddy.
Yep. And even your D plus, Jimmy, it could have been this close to a C minus. So
it could have, but I needed more on my menu, unfortunately for me, man. But I had to look. The show wasn't that bad. Again, I got to do more of how you look at it and just not worry about. If I just watch it for what it is, just a wrestling show, maybe I should judge it on that more so when it comes to this show. Then it could be a bit more positive. I don't want to be a total prick all the time. And lately, I kind of have been up and down because a few weeks ago, they did put on a great show. But anyway, we'll see where this goes come next week. And as for Stephanie Vaquier, just quietly.
Still can't get her right. Still can't get her.
Well, wait, what am I doing right? Is it Vaquier? Vaquer. There we go. I said it, right? Come on. Mm-hmm. Give me a break. And speaking of S, sorry for not really an S, but S for sorry in this case. I couldn't get the cameras going, man. I think it's got to do with my drivers. I wasn't going to update them during the show, so unfortunately I had to stick to it like this. Sorry, Vet, about that in particular. But, yeah, man. Oh, Jimmy. Yeah. AI. Graham Jimmy T. Hot tour Graham. But anyway, Vet, in saying that, man, tell them where they can find you and what you're up to, man.
Yeah, Opinion Haver on all social media platforms. You can find me every Monday night to talk about TNA. If you want to hear what I thought about Slammiversary, just tune in tomorrow night, 6:30 p.m. Pacific, 9:30 p.m. Eastern, for the Impact Attack. Where Brandon and I will go over the latest episode of Impact Wrestling and cover the TNA Slammiversary pay-per-view. So we'll be talking about that. Please join us and give us more to talk about. And then you could check out the Next Level Wrestling review to talk about the NXT crossovers that we've got going on with TNA and just the regular NXT in general with Big Ray Hernandez. He'll be, I think, joining me, but we'll be talking about that, breaking that down, and that's at Wednesday morning, 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern, if you want to join us live for that one. And, I like to think that people would want to follow me across all the shows I do, so that way you can keep up with all of my running jokes and gags and inside bits and other stuff, and then you'll never feel left out. Impact Wrestling? Yes, Impact Wrestling. That's the name of the TNA TV show. It's called Impact. TNA Impact. So the Big Ray there, Brandon there. Okay, and then you're going to want to... Oh, yes, of course. Well, before we get to Stevie Richards...
I didn't mean that. That was an accident, by the way. Yeah, I accidentally clicked it.
Well, Stevie Richards Wrestling Analysis, that channel doesn't exist anymore. That's an outdated channel. What we have now is the Stevie Richards Show, which is a weekly show on YouTube that you could get in audio form. But that comes out every Friday, I believe. And you can hear on the latest episode, you can hear Stevie address the comments from WWE champion Cody Rhodes and a bunch of other topics like what would he do as far as AEW and their restructuring. They kind of did like a mock draft, like they roster splitted and rebranded, and they've got ideas for Dynamite, Collision, and Rampage. So check that out if you want to hear Stevie's thoughts, get into the booking mind of Stevie. And you also got, of course, yes, Stevie on the SmackDown, Raw SmackDown review show on the brand, also on Channel Attitude and Patreon probably. I lose track of all that other stuff, but Stevie's there. He's doing his fitness channel. He's just doing and he's got another brand new video updating his back going out again and him documenting that. So that's the latest from Stevie Richards as of this morning, is more back chronicling issues. So please support him, check him out, follow him, everything he's doing. And supporting Stevie is a good thing. You also got Wrestling with Rip Rogers every week. Friday, 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern. Concrete, unless it's not. Sometimes it's on Thursday, 8 a.m., and then maybe it'll be at a different time. But the way that you can concretely be notified is to go to the channel, subscribe, click the notification bell. That way, whenever they go live, you'll know, hey, I got to get home immediately, sit down and watch this because I have the opportunity to ask Rip Rogers a question, and who wouldn't want to do that? Finally, you've got the JTG YouTube channel. Most recent video is he plays the game of Wikipedia Fact or Fiction, where he goes over his Wikipedia page and tells you what's true and what's not true. So check that channel out. Also subscribe to that, and that's all I got.
Wow, that's... I've been meaning to check out the JTG stuff. I keep forgetting about it, but I might just do that now. But if you want to follow me on the Twitter, you can at DJ MassFX, and also at the PWC Network. Like and subscribe right here at channelattitude.com, where for $5, not only do you get the best talk in all of pro wrestling, but also the realest talk in all of wrestling. And also HamidMediagroup.podbean.com for all our affiliate shows, and of course the PWC Network.podbean.com, but we're mainly on the YouTube at the moment. There's something I wanted to touch on before I went, but I've freaking forgotten as I was saying all that. It doesn't matter, but like I said, also check out Vince Russo's The Brand. Oops, I didn't mean that. The Brand. We had to come in the background. But you know what, man? I think that's about it, Vet. So in saying that, I am Jimmy T. That is my co-host, the Vet Jamie Williams, and you've been listening and watching the HMG Saturday Night Wreckage right here on channelattitude.com and on via Hamid Media Group on the YouTube. And we're out. Hot telegram from me. Peace.